Welcome, everyone, to the MSP Marketing Masterclass. We'll get the slides up, please. Awesome. All right. Helps if we turn on the clicker. Awesome. Welcome, everybody, to the MSP Marketing Masterclass. We are streaming live from the world headquarters of Gradient MSP in beautiful downtown Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I need to switch slides. Awesome. Thanks, guys. A little bit of buzz there. Awesome. My name is Colin Knox. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Gradient MSP. I will be your host today, the MC, the guide, and one of the expert speakers. We're wired in for the next 4 hours, and we are not stopping on delivering quality content and education for you to level up your marketing game until the buzzer rings. Don't worry though, we have thoughtfully squeezed in a number of 5-minute bio breaks for you throughout the course of the event, so don't worry. But buckle up and get ready, because it's about to go down. Just as being in attendance today and as my way for saying thank you, I present to you all the $1 Million MSP Marketing Calendar Playbook. This is free just for attending the event, full of content for you all. You will be receiving a digital copy of this book after the event concludes. The book is packed with content. It's got the exact marketing calendar you can and probably should follow for the next 12 months to level up your presence, your reach, generate demand for your MSP. So keep an eye on your inbox for your download link to land in the next 24 hours. All right, let's put that there. Excellent. So to the wise ones, the VIP pass holders who elected to upgrade to a VIP pass today, you should all have your chat access, a link to submit questions, interact with the speakers and the experts throughout the event, be backstage with us. If you need any help with anything along the way, flip an email to helpme@meetgradient.com. My team is standing by to get you whatever it is that you need to make the most of your experience here today. To everyone else, pay attention. We are not recording and sending this out to you after unless you bought a VIP pass. If you did, good choice. You will get your link in the next week to the high-res recording so that you can consume this all you want. If you didn't buy VIP, don't worry though. If you have to step away, you miss a piece of it, or if you just want to watch another part, one of the masterminds coming on, again, we are streaming 2 more times. We will be restreaming again this evening at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern, and again tomorrow morning in the wee hours of the morning here in Calgary, 3 a.m. Mountain, 5 a.m. Eastern. Make sure wherever you are in the world, you have a chance to consume all of this amazing content. So now, let's bring some of the experts in the masterminds to the stage for a quick introduction, walk you guys through what we have in store for you today. Chris Black will be kicking it off. He's going to be talking to you about why most MSPs never scale and how to make sure that you do. Thanks for joining us today, Chris. I'll be coming back to talk after Chris about social media and how you can use it to gain a market stronghold using it. I'll be followed by Miss Katie Vreeland. She's going to be coming in to speak on how your voice can beat any budget. Growth, after all, isn't bought, it's built. After Katie, I will be coming back on stage. Hopefully you don't get sick of me, but to finally reveal to you the secret project that I've been working on for the last year, and all told have invested over $500,000 in. So stay tuned. You will not want to miss that. After that, we'll be joined by Shawn Freeman. He'll be coming in to cover from founder to 5 million and that journey and how your sales and marketing systems will evolve as you grow. He'll be wrapped up by Kyle Sutton, coming in to talk to you all about what's working today and customer acquisition tactics that work in the AI era. And after that, we have Justine Adams coming to teach and being a master storyteller. How do you go beyond the logo with a story that sells your MSP? And to bring it all home, Arsalan Eizadirad will cover the 3 pillars of MSP success, helping enable, connect, and grow in a competitive market. We're crowding in here. It's all comfy and cozy, but that's awesome. After all of that, thanks everybody. We will do a quick wrap up. We'll do the draw for the $10,000 value grand prize giveaway. We're not going to miss that. That might be the only reason some of you guys came here. And then we will send you on your way to hopefully grow like you never have before. So that's the set list. Let's get right in. Let's kick this off with Mr. Chris Black. Welcome everybody to the MSP Marketing Masterclass. All right, sir. Here you go.
Oh, the special clicker. That's a brave move. Very brave move. Awesome. Well, I only have 20 minutes, so I'm going to try and keep it short. I never really keep things short. I tend to be verbose, which is why I'm shocked Colin started off with me. I don't know why you'd want to start behind. You are in for an action-packed day. I've had the opportunity to see what everybody is going to be presenting today, and it's awesome. I've been doing this for a very long time, and what you're going to hear, I hope you're a VIP customer because you're going to want to have this recorded and you want to go through it. So I'm going to rip through my stuff. I tend to be a little bit contrarian. I tend to get people angry. Hopefully that doesn't happen today, but you know, we're going to throw it out there. The reality is most MSPs will never scale. And I know that's a hard truth. And I know a lot of you are going to sit back and think, well, we have scaled. We do scale. We are scaling. And some of you, if you're really honest, are going to sit back and you're going to look at it and you're going to say, you know what, our growth really isn't there. We are kind of flat. Minus a couple of those bluebird big sales, we're really not going forward. And the reason most MSPs won't scale, the reason most MSPs will fail is because of leadership gaps, undisciplined execution, ignoring your customers. Well, today you're in luck. I'm going to talk to you about my 20 years of experience and the 10 strategies that, you know, Colin challenged me to think up that really separate the best MSPs who grow from the ones who stall. So buckle up. First and foremost, for all of you MSP owners, for all of you MSP leaders, stop playing small. If you're still the guy or girl fixing tickets, you're not building growth. You're not leading from the front. We love to put these little video montages on, but the reality of this is that if you're still in there day to day, fixing issues, working in operations, helping to lead from the screwdriver or from the data center, you're not running your business. You don't know your numbers. You don't know your customers. You're not leading your team that drives growth. It doesn't mean your whole world needs to revolve around go-to-market, but it does mean that the bulk of your life needs to be working on the business, not in the business. You got to stop playing small. Second, purpose-built teams win. We're going to talk a lot today about purpose. Well, everybody is going to talk a lot today about purpose, but you don't scale with passengers. You scale with the right players playing the right positions, working as a singular unit. This means when you go to build your team, you don't just hire nice people that were referenced by a friend. In fact, that's the worst way to grow your business. You need to have a clear idea of the team that you want, the role that they play for your customer. Work from your customer's needs backwards, and then build the team that is going to allow you to deliver. You as a leader are a force multiplier, but you can only force multiply if you have the right people around you carrying out their roles in unison on a day-to-day basis. Critically important. So you have all the right people, you're involved in the business, but you're dealing with the wrong customers. You're engaging with the wrong people out in the world. You're hosting movie events with hundreds of people, and none of them are buying. Why? Take a look in the mirror. Take a look, in fact, at your purpose and your goal and your aspiration. Take a look at your current customers, or if you're a startup and you don't have current customers, what is your aspirational best customer? Stop chasing anybody with a pulse. Dominate where you can win most, where you bring the most value, where you're most likely to succeed. If you're in an organization that has done really well in one vertical or segment, force multiply against that. Having an ideal customer profile is one of the most major contributors to the successful MSP. They know who they can deal with. They know where they can drive value. They're able to prove it in narratives. They're able to put it out there in case studies. They have evangelists that they can lean on. Why do they have those? Because they know their marketplace. And that's the marketplace that they're chasing. And those are stories that they're telling over and over. You can train against them. You can build against them. New logos are the lifeblood of your business. Now, I am the first person out there, and you can go and find lots of information from me talking about current customers, and we're going to talk about that. But if you're not bringing in new logos, if you're not driving new business, you are not going to grow. If your team doesn't have a daily prospecting rhythm, if you're not out there making calls, if you're not out there in meetings, if you're not writing new proposals for new customers, if you're not answering new unique questions, if you're not challenging yourself to go out there and get kicked to the curb 9 times out of 10, but have that one huge win that everybody feels really good against, your pipeline is dying. Your current customers will decline over time. It's not your fault. It doesn't mean you're doing a bad job. It means that the ebbs and flow of business are such that customers are going to go through periods of decline, just like they go through periods of growth. The best way to offset that is by adding new customers. Think of it as peaks and valleys. All you're adding is another mountain range and another mountain range, so that your baseline becomes frictionless and very steady. Get out there, prospect. You should be doing it as a leader, and you damn well better make sure your team is doing it on a regular basis. Hugely important. Cross-sell, upsell, stop leaving money on the table. Mine the gold that is within your business. You know, I always like to think of the analogy, everybody, you know, they order and skip the dishes. They want to bring in food. They have tons of food in the cupboard, but they don't think they have anything to eat. Why do they think that? Because they didn't bother looking. This is the same thing in your business. And you're thinking, no, we know our customers. We've sold them everything. Every single MSP that I deal with across Canada, across the United States, in Europe, I have the luxury of having a very wide span of MSPs that I deal with. And what I see from every single one of those that's honest and does the inspection, it's that their penetration of product and solutions in their customer base is far smaller than they think it is. 37%, 40% if you're lucky. Challenge your teams to do the white space exercise, to know their customers. It's simple horizontal and vertical axes. Put all your solutions up top and all of your customers on the side, and X's and O's. O's means they don't have that solution. X's means they do have that solution. What you're going to find is opportunity, and I guarantee you, you're leaving money on the table. Those customers know you, they trust you, they're more likely to buy from you, but you need to tell them about the value you can provide. You need to challenge and create the sale. It's not just going to show up at your doorstep. Mine your goal. Measure or miss. This is one of the truest elements in any business. If of all of these 10, you take one thing away today, please start managing and start measuring. Understand where your business is at. What does your pipeline look like? What are your conversion and win percentages? What does your churn and attrition look like? These are your cockpit dials, just like in this airplane image. You as a leader within your business or within any respective business unit should know your numbers and be able to quote them almost any day at any time. This can't wait for the end of the quarter. It can't wait for the end of the year. You need to have your finger on the pulse of the business at all times. What gets measured gets managed, and what is managed gets done. Be the organization that knows what makes your business tick. Be all over it. Be relentless in this element of your business. It's not about micromanaging. It's about leading from the front. No CRM, no truth. I will be the first person to tell you that in my younger days in this city, my hometown of Calgary, not many blocks from here, growing up in this industry, I hated CRMs. I hated putting my opportunities in the CRM. I fought my leaders on this. I was wrong. They shouldn't have listened to me or let me muscle them around, because that pipeline is the truth within your business. You can't manage on opinions. You have to manage on data. That data being timely, getting into the system, people having it in there, that really allows you to drive your business forward. You should be looking at your pipeline. Your pipeline is the truth. You should be testing those opportunities. You should be sitting down and doing portfolio reviews with your team and saying, tell me about this opportunity. I will tell you right now that half of every opportunity in most pipelines that I ever see in every CRM are complete BS. There's no substance behind them. It's not the ideal customer profile. It isn't the right buyer. It doesn't have the right message. The fundamentals aren't there. That shouldn't be in there. That is just noise. That's somebody trying to make it look like they're busy, like they're making their calls, like they're doing the right things. Get rid of the noise. Focus on the insights that sit within the data. You get your pipeline right, your business grows. Customer experience equals revenue. This is one of the truest statements ever. Not only does it equal the revenue that you have and you retaining that revenue, if you're giving that unique customer experience, your customers are absolutely going to become evangelists for you. You can go out there and have the best sales pitch, best sales team, best marketing materials that you want. Nothing compares with an evangelist customer. When your customers go out there singing your praises, when they show up at your events and they're talking to your prospects, when they're giving case studies or doing video narratives for you, it's powerful, it's believable. They're talking about real world outcomes that you have delivered. It's not just that fancy sounding sales pitch that, by the way, anybody can create because all of you look and sound the same. It's the real world experience that matters most. Customer experience equals revenue because that experience can become narrative. And that is the most powerful narrative within your business. Kill bad revenue. I'm going to say something today. Many of you are going to hate that I'm going to say this. Fire your bad customers. Those customers that hold your team back, that call in and have high levels of service tickets that are far beyond everybody else. Those customers that you can never satisfy, who are always returning things, who are questioning your invoice at the end of the month, who are chewing up management cycles. You're holding on to unprofitable misfits. And they're draining time, they're draining energy. If you think your team enjoys dealing with them, your team's lying to you. You don't have your finger on the pulse. Getting rid of those customers is a way for you to unlock our most precious resource within an MSP and within life itself. And that's time. That's time for your technicians to add value to better clients that drive more margin and are more interested in using technology and outcomes to drive their business forward. That's unlocking dollars that you're spending on people that you can start spending on other elements of your business to grow it. That's time and frustration and the soul-sucking calls that you have to take. I've taken them. You have to take it from business leaders who will never value what you're offering because they just want to be a pain in your ass. Identify who those customers are and fire them on the spot. Everybody will thank you for it, including your top and bottom line. Growth is a habit. This is the second one I want you to take away today. If you take anything away from what I say, growth is a habit. Daily huddles, weekly reviews, monthly accountability, habits build revenue. It's the same thing in our personal lives. Habits build health. In our business health, habits build revenue. They build bottom line. They build teams. They build community. You say you want a good culture. It's not just about pancakes and lollipops and being nice to people. And it's not about remote work coming into the office and forcing everybody to be together. It's far more nuanced than that. If you want to run a successful MSP, it means that you need to be disciplined and have habits across your business. Good hygiene, regular stand-ups, measurement, inspection, and accountability. That's not all negative. There's lots of positives there. When you're measuring and inspecting, it doesn't have to be accountability. It can be celebration as well. That doesn't happen unless you have your finger on the pulse, unless you're doing those daily, weekly, monthly activities that are drivers of success. Take a step back. Think about your business. What has really driven success for you? When you know what that is, you want to repeat it. That's the air of freedom for you as a business leader to go out there and hire and develop people, to go and find new clients, to continue to grow your business. You wonder why you're so busy and your management team's so busy every day? Because you're doing unstructured work without discipline. Become a habit-driven organization with discipline, and you will find that steady state, that Zen zone that really allows you to unleash. MSPs stall when they try and fix too much at once. You're going to hear a lot of things today. You're hearing some things from me, and you have a great lineup of individuals that are going to be sharing with you. One of the biggest mistakes is that everybody tries to envelop everything in these big efforts. And like anything else, multitasking is a great way to fail. So what you should walk away from today is don't attempt to fix everything all at once. Prioritize your list. Identify the things that are the most far astray. They're the most off the rails. Fix one thing at a time. Get really in there for 30 days. Dig deep. Measure the results. Move on to the next item. If you didn't quite finish that item, get it over the finish line. Do it right so you don't have to go back and do it again. piece by piece, priority by priority. If you do that with the advice you're going to get today on your go-to-market, you are going to have a bigger, stronger, healthier, funner business by the end of the year and heading into a strong 2026. Revenue without rules is just hope. This is the truth. Rules create rhythm. Rhythm creates growth. Hope doesn't mean shit. And I'm sorry to swear. I promised Colin I wouldn't drop many F-bombs or S-words, or I'm known for all of the different things. And I'm not trying to be crude, but I hear this from so many organizations. No, numbers will turn around. Based on what? That individual who hasn't performed for the 2 years that they've been here. They're just figuring it out. No, they're not. Revenue without rules is just hope. You need rules for how you hire. You need rules for how you train. You need rules for how you manage and measure. Rules within your business are a good thing. It's called a sandbox. Call it swim lanes. Call it whatever the hell you want to call it. But rules create rhythm. Rhythm creates growth. Please remember that. Within your business, you need to have hard and fast rules on how people perform, how they act, the values they upkeep, and the outcomes that you need to drive a healthy business. Having a whole bunch of people who are really nice people that aren't driving an outcome for you means they're not driving an outcome for your customers, means that your entire ecosystem of partners, people, family, the whole thing is broken. So for you, get involved. Get very involved. Create the rules, set the swim lanes, create the sandboxes. Have some elasticity. You don't need to be super rigid, but make sure that everybody understands the table stakes and the rules of the game. And it's your job to make sure that they follow them. Growth is architected. Any of you who sit back and, when you first start a business, it's such a satisfying feeling. You talk to some friends, you talk to some contacts, people throw you some business. It's really easy until it's not really easy. So what you don't need is more tech or noise or more horses in the stable. You don't need any of that. You need discipline, you need clarity, and most importantly, you need execution. You hear this all over the place, and love or hate Elon Musk is really good at one thing: execution. You need to walk into your business on a day-to-day basis. If you have a good plan, it doesn't take 2 weeks for that plan to come to fruition. Let's get it done today. Why not today? If you give it 3 months, it'll take 3 months. You give it 3 days, it'll take 3 days. It's amazing how that works. But for you, have a purposeful design, have a game plan, put a timeline in place, and manage against the plan and the timeline. Growth is architectural. You need to build your plan and execute against it. Even if you get some things wrong, any road will take you to a destination that's undetermined. Don't be that company. Determine your destination, set a path there, and fix it along the way. Promise you I'm almost done. I am done. Colin, under 20 minutes? Come on. That's pretty good.
That is
rare for
pretty
me.
Incredible. Pretty incredible, man. I love it. Love the content. Everything else so good. We're going to have a team check-in for backstage and any comments, questions. If you didn't get your link, feel free to drop questions in the comments. Team is monitoring for our VIP members to share those questions up front with us. I mean, Chris, you say, well, why did you start with me? You just set the foundation. You set the stage for the whole thing, talking about all the habits and the architecture and the dead weight and all of that stuff to get rid of. I mean, what I didn't say before we came up and I just handed the reins over to Chris is this man has personally sold over $1 billion in managed services revenue. So if you need to rewind, if you need to tune in again at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern to rewatch and re-listen to what he just shared, do it. He's been through the growth pains. He's gone from the 0 to 1, the 1 to 2, the 2 to 5, 5 to 10, and up and up and up through every scale. So I'd say this is, we already know from Gradient's data and just other public surveys out there, the average MSP is hovering around $1 million in revenue, right? And that's the reality. 90+% of this industry is 10 employees and under. So when you think back to revenue growth and the biggest bangs for the effort that you put in of trying to go from that 1 million to 2, and I know Shawn's going to talk a little bit about evolution of your sales practices and stuff later in that. What do you think is the number one or number two things to focus on for these MSPs that are trying to do that second million?
Yeah, you bet. Can I give you 3? Because I think the 3 come in really well together.
Yeah.
I'll start with 1, your ideal customer profile, using your data and really being able to identify, don't be whimsical about it and say, oh, I really want to deal with a big bank. That's an aspiration. Yeah. Look at your data, look at your information. Who are the customers that have really ticked? Where did that $1 million come from?
Yeah.
And what have you done to earn that $1 million? And why do you continue to earn it? That's the groundwork of your ideal customer profile. Who are they? Who is the buyer? What does it look like? How did you engage with them? How do you engage with them? That's what you want to recreate. In order to recreate that, don't hire a sales leader. I'm a sales leader.
Don't hire him.
Don't hire me. Don't hire a sales leader first. Sales leaders come when you have a team that needs to be led. If you're $1 million business, you're the sales leader. Even if you're not a salesperson, that $1 million came from somewhere, and usually it's from a technical owner who happen to have sales skills that they never want to, I hear this all the time. I don't identify as a sales leader.
Yeah.
Bullshit. You're a sales leader. If you've been involved in the sales, you're a sales leader. The best way to teach the next hire that you have in sales is through you. Yeah. That ideal customer profile, the process that you utilize, and what you did. So your next sales hire needs to be somebody that goes out there and does. And that would be the 3rd element. It's kind of the same as the 2nd, but it's different in my mind. Hire people that are doers, self-starters who will go out there. Even if they're going to make a mistake, what you don't want is somebody who wants to spend more time at a desk planning than out there. You should want the person who wants to go sit in a coffee shop, meet new people. They're hungry to go to networking events. They want to be out there and talking. Does that mean they'll be perfect? Do they have a 30-year career resume like you or I doing this? No, they don't. But they're going to go create new conversations, and they're going to pull you in. And then it's your job to support them. And I hear this from sales leaders. I shouldn't have to do their job for them. BS. Again, I'm going to call BS on that. It's everybody's job to sell within an organization. And in MSP, everybody sells, especially leadership. That never ends. You are never off the front line of selling. If one of your team has done the hardest job, which is go out there and get turned down 15 times, nobody wants to talk to you. I have an existing provider. I'm not making a change. And they bring somebody to the table, it's incumbent on you to show energy and zest and a want to go and talk about your business to that person. So where does that second $1 million come from? It comes from you. It comes from that first sales hire, from that sales team. And if you hire a sales team that understands your vision, that understands your value proposition, and it's bought in, that second $1 million turns into $20 million very quickly.
Amazing. Awesome. Any other questions from the comments?
Quick look here. Ash says, thank you for the ebook.
Nice.
So yeah, there's that.
Awesome.
There is Goldie said, go Colin. Ron, hello everyone. Yeah.
Awesome.
Bethan says, yes, data is the new crude oil.
It is 100%. And your PSA is so ripe with it. So ripe with it. Even as muddy as it can get with, all the old stuff from over the years, you are so ripe with data in there. Do a little focus, do a little cleanup, you're good to go. Awesome. Well, hey, if you liked his content, I will grab that, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. You like Trish content, stick around. Part of the grand prize giveaway is a 1-hour go-to-market consulting call with this man. One-on-one, you get access to him. Ask him whatever the heck you want. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Colin.
Awesome. Appreciate
it. Have a great day, everybody.
All right. I will get a reset on the counter so that I make sure I don't go over time, because I can have the gift of gab as well and want to leave a little bit of time here. So we are reset. We'll get slides up. I do know after this session, hang tight, you will have a 5-minute bio break. All right, moving in. Let's be real. Everybody knows what social media is. We're all on it all the time. In fact, there's probably, last I checked, about 200 of you on social media right now watching this live stream across all the different social platforms we're on. Whether we're giving ourselves a brain break at lunch, throughout the day, or if you're anything like me, doing the good old doom scroll in bed at night, just trying to shut your brain off at the end of the day. But for some reason, when I speak to MSPs, they seem to think that their target customers and buyers aren't on social media. Today, I'm going to walk you through how you can use social media as an MSP to create a stronghold, to create a place where you own the attention, the authority, and the opportunity in your market. Now, this is the same framework that I've used in my own businesses, and it's what's outlined in another playbook you'll be able to grab after today. Attention is the new currency. And where could possibly be better to capture the attention of lots of people than somewhere like LinkedIn, where there are more than 900 million members, all B2B people, all business people. In general, adults and people are spending an average of 2.5 hours per day on social media. And here's the truth. The best MSP doesn't always win. And you might not want to hear that, but it's the MSP who gets the most attention that does. Social media is the easiest and cheapest way to capture that attention, if you do it right. Why does this matter for MSPs? Well, MSPs are another business, just like any other business and SMB out there. 75% of B2B buyers are checking you out on LinkedIn or other platforms before they ever even talk to you, or maybe even go to your website. That means that 3 out of 4 decision makers are paying attention to what you publish on social before they even consider a vendor. Now, if you aren't showing up with value, you're invisible. 80% of people trust what you post as a leader more than any ad that your company will ever run. That means that your own LinkedIn profile and posts could literally be winning or losing deals without you knowing it. And this is why. Your voice is now your brand. And Katie's going to talk a lot about this later today. Here's the problem, though, that most MSPs face. Looks familiar. You throw spaghetti at the wall, right? You post once in a while, very randomly, and it's usually talking about the tech, not business outcomes. And then you stop after a few days or maybe even a couple of weeks because you feel and think that it's not working or it doesn't work. But the reality is that it's not that social doesn't work. It's that your strategy doesn't exist or you just didn't stick to it long enough. When you build your social media stronghold, you stop chasing and you start attracting. Now, it might sound corny, but you become the authority, you generate inbound leads, and you can build a magnetic brand that makes selling so much easier. Now, tell me, who wouldn't want that? This is the stronghold framework. It's made up of 4 pillars. We have profile optimization, content that converts, the engagement engine, and metrics and iteration. And when you put those all together, you create a fortress around your MSP's brand. Let's start out with profile optimization. First thing I'm going to say, your LinkedIn profile is not about your past jobs. It's not your resume. It's about selling who you help and how. Think of it more like a landing page. If someone clicks to view your profile and then just bounces away, you lose that lead because you didn't instill confidence, which is, at the end of the day, what everybody's looking for. The goal that you have is to keep them there, to give them plenty of content to consume, and then hope that they start following you to keep getting more. You're not going to sell them the second that they click your profile. It's a longer tail game. Here's 3 fast fixes that you can use to optimize your profile today. 1, make your headline a hook, not your job title. 2, use your banner to show your proof. This is where you put your client logos, your awards, your case study wins, your statistics, the things that matter to somebody else that proves how good you are. And the last thing, for the love of God, please rewrite, or at least write if you don't even have one, an about section. Something that shows outcomes that you and your team deliver, not certification. If I can be real for a second, I saw somebody that signed up for this event, and yes, I did go and check out a lot of people that were here and gonna be here. They literally had MCSE in their headline and listed again in their about. I need to be honest, nobody in any business and no SMB that you're trying to attract has given a shit or even known what MCSE is for about 20 years. Here's a quick example for you. On the left, boring, uninformative. On the right, a little bit more magnetic. Now, honestly, look at this. And if you were a buyer, which one would you be more likely to reach out to or at least start to follow? Which one would be more likely to stop your scrolling in your tracks and check them out, to just learn a little bit more? Your headline, as I mentioned, is so critically important. And here's why. It is the very first thing that people see when they look at your LinkedIn profile. Or anytime that they see your posts, reactions, or comments pop up in the feed, it says your name and then your headline. That's it. But this is where 99% of MSPs blow it. They put something like president at XYZ IT services. That doesn't sell anything. It doesn't make anybody want to lean in and learn more. Who the heck is XYZ IT services? Who cares, right? Think of your headline like a billboard on the highway of LinkedIn. You have one line to make somebody slow down and notice you. Now, let's go through some examples of headlines that are written to speak directly to outcomes, not who you are or what your role is. Okay, I'm going to pull up a bunch of these on screen. So get your camera, get your screen snag tool ready, whatever it is you want, take copies of these. This is a gift. All right, first, helping local businesses sleep at night by securing their data. Simple. It speaks to peace of mind. IT that speaks human, not tech jargon. How many businesses and people do you meet with that are like, I don't want to hear the acronyms. I don't want to hear all the tech. I don't want to hear. They want it in plain English. This appeals to those frustrated business owners. Driving growth for law firms with reliable, stress-free IT. You just plug in your own niche or vertical that you focus on, you have instant positioning. You could even do your region if, Alabaman companies, businesses with reliable, stress-free IT. So simple. I keep your team productive, secure, and supported. At the end of the day, that's all they care about. From downtime to uptime, how we transform IT. Notice that all of these headlines, all of them, say what's in it for the customer, not who you are. That's the shift that needs to happen. If your headline doesn't stop your ICP in their tracks, and Chris just talked about ICP, you're losing deals before you even know they exist. The next pillar is content that converts. And the best way that I can explain this to you is to think about content in your contact being a salesperson that works all day, every day without a salary. They're only going to be effective, though, if you are feeding it the right script and giving the right content. Now, there's two types of posts that you can do here in this type of concept. Which one do you think buyers are going to care more about? This is the good old features versus outcomes. Don't post about patching. Don't post about vulnerabilities. Post about the business impact of doing it. Now, there's 4 types of content that we define that you need to weave in and work together. And it's very simple. There's only 4 of them. And we're going to go through them now. And these work really well together to cover any spectrum of audience. The first is authority. This is the most important one for you. This is the one that shows that you actually know your shit. This gives them the confidence that you are the expert. It provides that illusion, hopefully not an illusion, but the reality that you're a thought leader. It shows you know your stuff. It teaches your audience. The next is engagement. Engagement sparks that dialogue. This is what actually starts conversations. When you get people following you, you do one of these engagement posts. You thought-provoke. You maybe put out a controversial opinion. Put something out there that drives and compels people to comment, to share, to maybe repost, get other people's thoughts. This is how you spread your reach. And this is how you create dialogue with some of these people. The next are the proof points. This is how you build trust, but this isn't all that you should be posting. This is thoughtfully woven in and where you finally get to hammer your wins and your case studies. plug your stats. We hit 98% CSAT. We hit a 90-minute call time resolution. We answer every call in 30 seconds last month. That's what you give. This is the stuff that shows, hey, they care about metrics that I care about, and they are achieving. What's even better, if you check out some of my recent posts, show your receipts. The world is full of naysayers, doubters, skeptics, whatever you want to call it. Show your receipts, give screenshots, give proof. That's what's going to buy you even extra credibility. These are the personal posts. These are the ones that make you feel relatable. It makes you feel human, like you understand them, like you're one of them, and you are because you're a business owner as well. Too many MSPs generally only do one type of post. They stick to one, and it's one of two. Usually the boring authority posts, which really just come across like harping, or two, it's selling. They're always doing a pitch. Buy this, buy that, here's a discount, here's what we're offering. Less pitching, more contributing of value and contributing to the conversation in the social platform. Now, we already told you the hook is everything. This is the first sentence of your post. And if this doesn't stop somebody in their scroll, stop that scroll, nobody is going to see the rest of your brilliance and how much effort you put into the rest of the post. So now I'm going to put up some examples. Again, get screenshot ready, click happy, camera ready, however you want to go about it. I'm going to show you some things that are focused on sparking curiosity, creating tension, or just driving emotion. Most IT companies will hate me for saying this. This is promising that inside scoop. People have to click. That's the ultimate clickbait. Oh my God, I use an IT company. What should I know about these guys? Here's another one. Here's what your IT guy isn't telling you about cybersecurity. Creates that intrigue, a little bit of that FOMO, right? Nobody wants to miss out. What isn't he telling me? What should I know? They're going to click in and hop into that stuff. The number one mistake we see as business owners, or we see business owners make, makes those people lean in again. They don't want to be making the same mistake, but they know that because it's the number one mistake, they probably are. So I want to fix that. If I had to rebuild my IT setup tomorrow, something that's highly relatable, because every single business wonders, what should I be doing differently? And then there's my personal favorite. This one small IT change saved a client $40,000 last year. That is specific, it's tangible, and it screams ROI. Here's the rule. The hook needs to make people curious, challenged, or inspired. If your first line of your post is boring, the post is dead. No matter how good the rest of it is. You need to be spending 80% of your time on that first sentence, and I've just given you a bunch that you can scrape, steal, and use. The third pillar is the engagement engine, but here's the secret. Posting alone doesn't work. The algorithm is trained to reward engagement, so you have to give to get. Every day, for moving forward here, here's your daily engagement routine. Number one, comment on 5 posts from your ideal clients or customers. Once you do that, send them a DM that adds value, not pitching something. If you look at the example that we've got up here, it's about relating to something that they posted recently and offering something of value. I'm not asking to book a meeting. I'm not asking them to send them a price list. I'm not asking them how their IT is. It contributes value to them, starts a conversation. Once in a while, spotlight your clients. Tag them, highlight them. Works as a proof post, but when you tag them, it also helps you reach their audience and following. It's simple, but it's powerful. This is the flywheel. You post, you engage, conversations start, opportunities follow. Repeat it consistently, and the machine will never stop. Once you've got the flywheel spinning, you move into tracking. You can't fix what you don't track. Chris just said it 20 minutes ago. The MSPs who win are the ones who measure and improve across the board. Okay? Forget the vanity metrics. Don't be looking at likes and comments and stuff like that. You need to be tracking reach, tracking your engagement rate, and most importantly, how many real leads are actually coming in from social. And right now, that's going to be a glim number. I know that, but start tracking it. You can build a simple dashboard. This one maybe looks crazy and fancy and everything else. Yes, you could go out and buy a tool. Guess what? You all own Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. It's as simple as just creating the columns, typing in your metrics week after week, and having that create your line charts, bar charts, donuts, pie charts, whatever. And you can see the trends. Measure it, and you will see the patterns. You will see what works, and you will see progress. Here's a quick story. In my MSP, we actually landed a $100,000 client because of one single LinkedIn post. Sounds crazy. Wasn't an ad, wasn't a cold call, wasn't a whole conversation and a sales meeting. One post. That's the power of social. It was a post where I shared how one of our clients saved money because of our due diligence with backups. It was nothing sexy. Some people might be like, oh my God, I can't believe you just told everybody that your client got ransomware. Guess what? You were probably running your MSP back in whatever that was, 2013. Everybody's clients got hit with ransomware. It was the thing. It happened. Not a sexy post. Didn't explain the tech. Didn't give the name brand. Didn't do a pitch. Nothing like that. Just a relatable situation. Gave the outcome. Quantified the value. And then at the very end, positioned a question that made them think. That was it. One post. A $100,000 deal. If you do this plan for the next 30 days, I promise you will feel momentum. 4 weeks is all that it takes to start to see traction. Week 1, fix your profile. Update your headline, update your banner, and write your about. Week 2, this is where you start posting and the engagement cadence that you're going to follow every single week moving forward. You're going to post 3 times a week. I don't care if that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever it is. 3 times a week you post. And then each time you post, you're going to comment on 5 posts from your ICPs. That's it. That's also going to show them your post in their feeds, by the way. Week 3, you're going to continue doing that, but this is where you start to weave in the proof posts. Week 2, don't put the proof in there yet. Just be giving value and be humanizing yourself. Maybe some of that engagement stuff. Week 3 is when you weave in the proof posts. Week 4, too fast. Week 4, that's when you continue the process, but you review. You look back at those metrics you've been plugging in week after week for the performance of all of your posts, and you review and refine. You double down on what worked, and you refine and update and change what didn't. All right, tomorrow, here's your 3 moves. Change your headline, okay? I gave you, 5 of them earlier? Snag one, update it, fit it to you, drop it in your LinkedIn profile. 2, write 1 authority tip post. Use and start with a hook. I gave you a whole bunch. Same thing, snag it, grab it, fit it, draft out the rest of your post. 3, comment on 5 posts from people that match your ICP. This alone is going to get you moving. This is the takeaway. The game has changed. The MSPs who win are not the ones with the best tools or tech. I'm sorry to tell you that. The ones who win are the ones with the most attention. Attention is leverage. Get it, and your growth gets easier. Now it's your turn. Don't just consume this content or take notes that you never look at. Go out and actually build your stronghold. Start tomorrow, stay consistent, and watch what happens. All right, now let's talk about what you can actually walk away with today. First off, just for attending, like I already shared, just for being here, you all get a digital copy of the $1 Million MSP Marketing Calendar Playbook. That alone is enough to run an entire year's worth of structured marketing. Use that. But here's where the real transformation happens. It's actually in the bundle. Now, this bundle includes the social media stronghold strategy, about the presentation I just gave, but this goes a lot deeper than this presentation, and it actually gives you all the swipe files, all the templates, all the dashboards, everything already done and included for you. Okay? The next is the close it like clockwork method. This is the exact scripts and sales process that I followed in my MSP to close in the high double digits % of every single client and opportunity that we had. There's another book. These are meaty, big books. Drop that there for you. May not be getting this perfectly centered, but that's all good. The last one, thanks, Tiago. The last one, probably the most powerful, the Rocket referral system. I ran some wicked, wild referral programs at my MSP. This was the #1 contributor to how I added $1 million in MSP revenue every single year, year after year, as an MSP. These playbooks are not fluff, okay? I have been laboring over and working on these books, writing them for the last 2 years. This is not the secret project, but I've been on this for 2 years now, because for a decade, so many of you have been saying, Colin, write a book. How the heck did you do it? Well, this is how I did it. These are the actual blueprints, the campaigns, the scripts, everything that I personally used and followed to add that $1 million in recurring revenue every single year for 4 straight years in my MSP. Now let's position this honestly. This bundle, easily worth $3,000 or more. Of course, I could say that, but let's count it out. If you were to hire a quality marketing or a revenue manager to figure all of these things out that's in these books, you're looking at $100K minimum per year, okay? This is going to save you hundreds of hours of trying to build the processes, write the scripts, campaigns, and figure everything out. But what's better is it eliminates all of that guesswork, all those failed attempts along the way of years of trial and error. It's all packaged right there. Now, if you wanted to hire someone like me or me one-on-one to coach you through it, that's going to cost you over $40,000. If you bought sales training programs or scripts from a consultant, you're looking at $5,000 to $10,000 easy. If you joined a coaching program, at least $2,500 a playbook. That's why I say that this bundle is easily worth $3,000. Now, honestly, I think it's worth way more, because in my case, it generated millions upon millions of dollars in revenue, which led to a strong 7-figure exit for me. Now, I need to be clear. Those were all my results. Your mileage will vary. Every MSP is different. We can't guarantee your effort, so we can't guarantee your outcome. But what I can guarantee is this, that the system in these playbooks are battle tested. They're practical, and if you take action, they can and will change the way that you market, sell, and grow. So here's the deal. To our VIPs today, and I know some of you are on there, the folks that grabbed the $49 upgrade, you are already getting this entire bundle, free, hard copy, shipped to your front step. If that's you, congrats. You made a very smart move. For everyone else, you have a choice. After today, this bundle, the 4 books here, will be listed at $997. But today, at this event only, and for the next 24 hours, you can get it for $499. One deal closed using these strategies will pay for itself 60 times over. Let me be real. This is not about selling you a book or a few books. This is literally about handing you the exact campaign scripts and frameworks that built my $1 million a year growth engine. I know how powerful this is. I lived it. The only question is, are you going to take it and use it? If this is something that you think you would want in a year, next quarter, next month, hell, even next week, act now. Save yourself that extra $598 that it will cost you to get it after today. $499, that's it. VIPs again, you get it completely free. Plus, if you do buy today, I feel like Vince at the Slap Chop, but truthfully, we will also include a high-resolution recording of today's entire event. Recapture and rewatch as many times as you want all of the amazing gold content that we're providing today. All right, we're going to head into a 5-ish minute break before getting everyone back here for a stellar educational session with Katie Vreeland. She's going to be talking about taking your voice and making that your brand. We will leave the QR code up on screen here for you to grab your playbook bundle, and we'll be here waiting for you to get started when you grab another coffee. Thanks, everybody. Okay, awesome. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a chance to top up your coffee, top up your water, get a snack, whatever it is that you needed to do over those 5-ish minutes here. Couple points quickly of clarification. One, QR code is on the screen. You want to buy the playbook bundle? It is here ready. Place your order. Shipping will go out next week here. If you're a VIP, you bought the VIP, these will all be shipped to you. Shipping next week. Please be patient with shipping and handling. Might take some time to arrive at your doorstep. For everybody else, as mentioned at the beginning of the show, the first book, the $1 Million MSP Marketing Calendar Playbook, you will get a PDF link for your download of that file after the show today. Will show up tomorrow. And everybody else that bought the bundle, that bought VIP, your recording link will be sent out in the next week here as well, once we get everything edited, set up, and sent out to you. So appreciate your patience, appreciate your attendance and being here today. Up next, we have Katie Vreeland. She is an incredible marketing maven coming in. We've talked about voice, we've talked about brand. This is her. She's coming on now. Katie, welcome to the stage. Here to talk to you all about how your voice can beat anybody's budget. Awesome. The floor is yours. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you. Well, I was very lucky to have Colin set me up perfectly with his talk. So today we're going to go over how your voice beats everyone else's budget. A lot of times when we're thinking about marketing, especially in the MSP side, I was on that side, it was throwing money at ads and at agencies, and it just doesn't work that way. So I want to start it off by really thinking about the brands or the businesses that you really respect, the ones you'd recommend without any hesitation. What really comes to mind? It's not their logo, their website. You typically picture a person, a founder or voice behind the brand that you trust. Your voice is your competitive edge, not bigger ad budgets, not fancier agency content. It's your expertise, and you make it visible. So today, I'll give you my system that takes about 2 hours a week that can give you almost 90 days of content. Ads right now are louder than ever. Buyers trust them less than ever. We're conditioned to. We see them everywhere. We're bombarded by them constantly. In 2025 now, we're finding that just being visible is beating any spend you can throw at it. For years, the playbook was really simple. Spend more, shout louder, get more leads. And while that did work for a while, today it just doesn't scale. You can buy reach, but what you can't buy is belief and trust. That's why so many MSP founders feel stuck. They're doing old things, but the math does not work anymore. Your real expertise is what's going to beat polished ads every single time. Can you change that for me?
Yep.
Doesn't seem this one's working. Thank you. So here's the difference. When we're thinking about ads, we already used the billboard, but we're going to use it again. Ads to me are just like billboards. You pay for them, they work, but the second you stop paying, they disappear. There's zero residual value there for you. Visibility and word of mouth is what's really spreading through networks. It compounds over time. It keeps working long after you've stopped paying and the billboards are gone. Your content from 6 months ago is something that's still driving conversation. Now, really think of ads as fireworks. They're really loud, they're bright, but then they're gone. When I think about visibility and being out there, it's really like a campfire. It draws people in, it builds warmth, it lasts as long as you're going to continue to feed it over and over. 92% of consumers trust referrals from people that they know more than any ad. Your next 10 customers, they don't want to see an ad from you. They want to see you, your face. They want to hear your words and your story. They want to know that you understand their business, and they want proof that you've solved problems just like theirs. Outsourcing to marketing agencies who don't live in the MSP world is painful. I've outsourced work to agencies before for an MSP. So here's what it looks like. You hire an agency, spend about $5,000 or so. You spend 5 to 6 hours onboarding. You're really telling them why your services aren't just IT support. You walk them through everything, VCIO methodology, stack management, compliance. You explain why your clients really care about continuity and not just how quickly they can get to a ticket. 2 weeks later, they deliver a blog post titled 5 Reasons Your Business Needs Managed IT Services. And it's generic. It's not you. It doesn't have any passion in it. And really, here's what gets me about the whole scenario of ads and agencies is that you spent 6 hours of your time explaining your business to someone who will never truly get it. 6 hours that you could have spent with your clients or closing deals, building referral relationships that really fill your pipeline. Next month, you're going to spend another few hours going through and reviewing all that content, giving them feedback, explaining again and again why this angle doesn't work for your market. Every minute you're educating an agency is a minute that you're not educating your prospects. That is a huge cost. No agency can replicate your decades worth of experience, your client success stories, your perspective on what really, really works. Your take on industry changes are so vital. They can't take your lived experience and your solved problems and try and transform that into marketing in a business that they just don't understand. So before I show you the system, I want you to do something. Think about one client conversation you had this week or last. Could have been a question they asked you, a problem you solved, a concern that was maybe raised, or an objection. Think about it. Grab a piece of paper and write something down. It can be a sentence, but take a few seconds to do that. Once you have it, that conversation, that's the first piece of content. You're going to turn that into 5, 6 formats just using this system. Your real conversations that you're going to have no matter what during the day are going to become your real content. And that's what's going to build the real trust. So the system is really simple. It's very repeatable, and it really does not take any marketing team. What you're going to do is you are going to capture the content. You're going to have your conversations. You're going to do your daily work, your client wins. You're going to talk about any of the challenges that came up. And what I like to do is record a voice note in my phone, sit on Zoom, talk to Notion, and have it transcribe it. I end up taking that, throwing it into GPT, and that's where it gets really powerful. So what I typically will put in is something like, I just had a client and we had a conversation and they asked about why their IT costs kept going up. Here are my notes, and I'll drop in the transcript. And then I ask it to turn it into 5 pieces of content in my voice and tone. A LinkedIn post, an email newsletter, a short video script, a client case study angle, and maybe a webinar talking point. I want it to keep it conversational and focused on educating and not just selling. So all of a sudden, your conversation you had that day easily turns into 5 pieces of content, because we're letting the AI do all the heavy lifting. You already did the work. Really, I take all of these notes throughout the week, all of the brain dumps, all the big ideas, and I just start working those through my system. Whenever I have free time, comes out to about 2 hours a week, maybe less, maybe more, but it will easily give me 90 days worth of content. I take that and I distribute it. I go on LinkedIn, mail it out to my email people. I use any of my referral partners. Every single piece of content that you're putting out there that's about your perspective and things you've lived through just continues to build trust and show that you understand their world. So how this really compounds is we're taking one real insight. We're taking a client call, someone worried about ransomware. They heard about another business getting hit. You walk them through what to watch for, how to protect them, and what makes them different from all the other companies that get compromised. You take those notes, you throw them into GPT. About 5 minutes later, you're going to have 5 pieces of content there. LinkedIn post about ransomware warning signs, an email newsletter on prevention, a short video on what to do if you suspect an attack, client testimonial about your specific security approach, and a webinar segment on backup and recovery. That turns into 3 extra conversations. Prospects are coming to you. They understand that you understand the threats that are out there. They reach out because they need someone who sees them and that can really explain it in plain English in their words. You take those 3, it often ends up in getting referrals. You get another referral. An existing client's going to share what they went through and how they learned from you. They'll share a post from you online, they'll interact with you, and you'll have a conversation. This is all momentum, and it just continues to compound. And the perfect part is that it doesn't stop when you stop paying for ads. Your routine expertise becomes systematic lead generation. You're not spending your time and money getting people to go do cold calls. You're not doing pushy sales tactics. You're just showing proof that you know exactly what you're doing. The visibility will always beat ad spend. It's an asset that you own. It really fuels all the referrals, the partnerships, the trust in ways that paid ads just never, ever will. It frees you from explaining your world to agencies who don't live in it. Your voice turns into the budget, and your lived experience is truly the advantage here. 65% of new businesses all come from referrals. That's why the system really works. You're not chasing any cold leads. You're building the trust that makes people call you first and recommend you often. So here's what I want you to do this week. Is just pick one client conversation you had, or record a voice memo, write it down, throw it into GPT. Give it your own prompt. What do you want out of it? Ask it to strip away all the noise. Just give some signal. Really find the value. And then you get your 5 pieces of format back. You're going to take the best one and you're going to polish it and make it feel like you. Post it. That's often the hardest part, is just taking things that you make your voice and just post them and put them out there, and continue to do it every 3 to 5 days, every week. You can do it daily, but you have to be consistent. If you can continue to do this, you will constantly be seeing more numbers coming back to you. You will be able to track what happens, who's commenting, who's reaching out, who shares it. If you continue going on with this for 90 days, you're going to see your pipeline start to build, and you're going to see the attribution, and it all comes back to your own voice. Growth is not bought, it's built. 92%. Really trust referrals over ads. Your expertise made visible isn't your edge, it's your unfair advantage. Every time that you're out there and you share how you handled a challenge, you build trust. Every time you explain something complex very simply, you strengthen your authority. Every connection you make expands the network that really drives growth and brings people to you. Now, I often get questions about this because it's hard. A lot of people aren't comfortable with being visible. I'm not. I do not enjoy being in front of a camera, but I'm here. So what do? You start building behind the scenes. You just share the wins. You can make it all anonymous. Explain the common challenges. Put it with a photo, put it with a tweet, whatever you need to do. You don't have to be on film, but your words need to be out there. Your expertise speaks so much louder than your comfort level. You think, I'm going to run out of ideas. Oh, that's fine. We often do, but we document every single client question, every client call. We figure out all of our different prospects and their needs, how they vary. People want to learn and buy from people that look and sound like them. So if you're putting all that out there, they're going to understand that you understand them. And that's really where you're going to find your niche. If you still need agency help, if you still want something to help you with continuously posting, find an agency, find a freelancer that does this. It is hard. It takes time, especially when you're going on LinkedIn. It is one after another, but there are platforms and there are people that do help with this that make the cost so much lower. Are you ready to build your voice into your advantage? Start this week. Pick one client conversation, one challenge that you solved, one insight you shared, and run it through the system. Build momentum. Consistency is always going to beat perfectionism. I'm a perfectionist. I get it. It's hard. But if you just do this 1 to 2 hours weekly, it is going to beat anything that's sporadic that's out there. And really measure what matters. Track the qualified conversations, the referrals from the existing clients that come in. Trust will build with all of your prospects. And you will see that pipeline growth, not only the vanity metrics. Your expertise is your competitive edge. In 90 days, you'll wonder why you ever tried to outsource this to people who don't live in your world. Thank you.
Amazing session, Katie. Awesome. All right. I am hiding behind the slide. There we go. Awesome. Thanks, Tiago. Excellent. No, people were dialed into that presentation. It's so huge. Katie said it. She doesn't like being on camera. I hate being on camera. I am forcing myself out here. I am the definition of introvert. But over the last 16 years of being in business, I've had to force myself and train myself to get out there. And it's very uncomfortable being out there. It's a lot easier here where it's like just Tiago that can see us as we're doing Mr. Backstage, manning everything over there. But if you had to give somebody just an actionable, like, what are the things that they need to tell themselves every day kind of before getting out, right? And just going forward, right? What are some of those reminders?
Yeah. Being uncomfortable is what growth is, truly. Putting yourself out there, putting your words out there. A lot of us don't trust our own voice. But who else do you want getting the prospects and the clients? You trust your work over someone else that you don't know. So use your words and use the things that you do and understand that you're just continuing to grow every single time. And just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to just put a pin on that one, she said it. If you're not the one that's in front of the potential customers, somebody else is. So you might as well give them at least a choice between you and somebody else, or maybe be the only one there. So Tiago, any other questions come in for Katie?
We have a great comment on screen. Jeffrey says, just start and stop stopping. So
yeah, just start and stop stopping. Great comment, Jeff. That is excellent. Awesome. All right, guys, stay tuned. We know there's a lot of you still on here. We're working our way through. If you liked what she had to say and you want to repeat it, you want to rewatch it, 1, Restream is coming up. 2, be here for the grand prize giveaway because she is giving away a phenomenal thing for a whole consultation to work with you and help you define this for yourself. So super exciting stuff. 1 person in attendance is going to get that today. So thank you, Katie. Love the content. Appreciate you being part of the show.
Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Before we hop into the next session, which is the grand reveal and what you guys are all here for, just address a few comments that have been coming up. One, we've heard your feedback about the slides being small. So a couple quick points. One, if you go full screen for the video, and I know that might be tough, you have to concede one of your screens. We know IT people. You guys have 2, 3, 4, maybe 8. If you go full screen, all QR codes, all other slides, every detail should be there nice and visible for you. But even if you can't concede that screen real estate, we will send out a PDF of all of the slides after the show. Just give us some time. There are, counting, 311 slides here. So we will clip some of those that you don't need for the educational content, but we will condense it, put it in an easily downloadable framework for you, and flip you a link alongside your PDF copy link, download link of the MSP Marketing, $1 Million MSP Marketing Calendar Playbook. Lucky few of you guys, you caught with a million things going on. We hadn't yet taken down the VIP pass page. Some of you guys got in under the wire. It is taken down now. If you want to grab the playbook bundle, $499. This will be selling for $997 after today. Sign the QR code, hop in, get it. We've also dropped the link in the comments. All right, here is the grand reveal, everybody. We will get things up, get things going. We have been working on a project for the last year. We've invested a lot of money in this. A lot of people have asked me, hey, can I get some early inside news? There's a number of people in the industry that have gotten some inside news, and thank you for staying tight-lipped about it all. A lot of them, though, as we've talked about what we've built and where we've gone, wanted a bit more of the backstory. Why did we go here? Why did a company who builds a financial operations tool that helps with billing automation and billing operations get into something that has to do with marketing? Why the hell are we running an MSP Marketing Masterclass? Well, for 2 straight years, I read industry reports from the likes of Kaseya, Enable, Canalys, ConnectWise that all had consistent, glaring statistics around MSPs being challenged with new customer acquisition. Reports and large spread surveys that show new customer acquisition tops the charts for MSPs' most significant challenges, more than customers' budgets, hiring skilled staff, securing customers, cyber insurance, and even government regulation demands. Even more than dealing with advanced and sophisticated security threats. Over and over, I kept reading how winning new business is getting harder for MSPs. Yet I know just as well as anyone that sales and marketing is the key to their sustainable growth. We see a growing number of MSPs year over year who, as a result, are looking to start or improve their marketing efforts. What's more, they're wanting to outsource their marketing as a top priority because they realize they aren't the experts. Partially due to there being increased competition and saturation of market, partially due to not having a dedicated sales rep, but like Chris stood here earlier and told you, you as the owner can step in. But really largely because you have no lead gen strategy. So I couldn't just stand by. We had to jump in and decided to help. I couldn't sit on the sidelines, knowing how much MSPs were struggling with this, how hungry they were for help. The sheer number of you that have shown up for this event continues to reinstate that for me. So as you likely know, we built and launched MSP Studio for you with the support of several phenomenal sponsors. That expanded into us and my team creating and giving you 18 turnkey full-month MSP marketing campaign toolkits that any MSP could download and use for free. We're talking about marketing campaigns across things like AI services, business continuity, cybersecurity, email security, on and on and on. And we made an impact. More than 1,500, nearly 1,600 MSPs joined the studio. And they proceeded to download and use those 18 marketing kits nearly 5,000 times. The fact that such a flood of you joined and used our free MSP Studio proved just how hungry you were for marketing help. But how much was that worth? 1,571 MSPs downloading them 4,831 times. Truth is, if I had charged market rates at $97 a month for a subscription for 6 months, we could have made up to $914,332. Round up to $1 million. That's nearly $2 million in annual revenue. Even on the low end, if we just sold the download toolkits for $99 a download, we would have pulled in nearly $500,000, $478,269 to be exact. Every one of those 1,500 MSPs who joined MSP Studio in free version and downloaded those toolkits told us how awesome they were. I got tons of DMs on LinkedIn, text messages from friends, emails. They all said how they were just too good. Some of them went on to say that they were better than some of the content that they were paying for from other providers. And then a bunch of them came back with that question that some of you are probably thinking, if you could have made all that money, why did you give this away for free? Well, we gave it all away for free so that one, we could actually help MSPs. The MSPs that were struggling with their marketing and give them one less reason why their business isn't growing. And two, we did this so that we could learn from you. We could learn what you liked and what you didn't like, what worked and what didn't, and ultimately, what else you might want us to deliver, what was missing. And that gave us everything we needed, so we got to work. We labored for over a year, working with marketers, creative designers, graphic designers, UI designers, product managers, developers, QA, and on. All told, like you've heard, we invested more than $500,000 in hard cash. This isn't considering any of that revenue we conceded by giving you MSP Studio for free. And then we spoke with hundreds of you, myself personally, to get feedback along the way. And now it's finally ready. And this is something that no MSP has ever had full access to before, as we understand it. Introducing MSP Studio Plus, forever changing how you market as an MSP. This is the beginning of the most valuable MSP marketing platform ever created. It's a marketing engine built specifically for MSPs. It's a platform that brings together an entire catalog of world-class battle-proven content that we've paired with rebranding automation and full social media distribution and publishing in one single, simple solution. Now, I described MSP Studio Plus in quite good detail to hundreds of MSPs. And then I asked them a simple question. What would they pay for something like that? Like what I'm about to show all of you guys. How much did they think that that would be worth to them? Their answers? $250 a month. $300 a month. $350, $400, $500 per month. So let's take a look at what we actually built for you. Going to pull up the demo here and we're going to have it walk through. So you log in, Microsoft or Google, we're an M365 shop, so we logged in with Microsoft. Once you get in here, you can go to your account settings. And this is where you send your branding details. You input your company name, your company sales email, your phone number, upload 2 versions of your logo so that you can have it varied for what type of graphic it's over. Once you have those things set, you now have access to the entire content catalog. But you can connect up your social media accounts across Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and X. For the sake of this demo and to keep it tight and everything on time, we're going to log in with Instagram. So we connect up our Gradient Company Instagram account. We authenticate in there. Don't need to save that password. And then it's going to ask you to authorize MSP Studio Plus to post on your behalf. After that, tell Gradient which or MSP Studio Plus which account you want, and you're connected. You can disconnect it at any time. Now, there's the full marketing content library, the whole catalog. stocked full of turnkey marketing toolkits. Social posts, you can categorize whatever it is you want. Go through the vast list. And when you find something that you like, just like on Netflix, when you want to watch something later, in our system, you add it to your list. Now it says to buy it or purchase it, you have unlimited credits, so don't worry about that. You add it to your list, and once it's purchased and added, you can go ahead and create a post. All you have to do is select the social platform and accounts you want to post to. If you want to make any changes to the copy that's already been put in there for you, you can change that and you'll see it happen in the preview in real time. Choose your overlay settings. Maybe you don't want to show the sales email or the phone number. You can turn those off. And maybe you want it at the bottom of this graphic. You can schedule to publish it now or schedule it later. We'll set a time for next week, down to the minute. After that, review and post, and that's scheduled and set. You never need to think about it again. You can return back to your assets list and publish more, or you can also create scratch content, just like a social media management tool. Choose where you want to post it to. I've been cooking something up, as you guys all know, so I took a fun picture earlier. We'll pop that up into the post, draft a little bit of something in here about what I've been cooking up. Tell all of you guys to get it while it's hot. Actually, that QR code's still up on screen right now. You can get it while it's hot. Stay tuned. You know what? Not every post needs to have your logo on it. So you can go ahead, turn off the overlay if you want, and go ahead. We'll schedule this to post right after this show at 4 p.m. today. Scheduled, posted, it's done. You've literally seen me draft and create posts with content, with graphics, with rebranding, set that will publish to social media for you in seconds. You can see your full set of upcoming posted, what the graphics are, what the text is, where it's going to post, when it's going to post, who did it. You can edit them, you can delete them, you can change anything about it. You can see your full post history. That's all there is to this. When I said it's simple, that is really how simple it is. Now imagine scheduling a week's worth of social posts in less than 5 minutes without you ever having to think about what to write, find and download or make graphics, get them rebranded in Canva or whatever else tool you're going to use, then do the copy-paste cycle routine over and over for each social platform. Pretty much the whole reason that you give up on being consistent on social media to begin with. And we've just solved it for you. With MSP Studio Plus, you get integrations with the top social platforms for scheduling and publishing. You get unlimited access to marketing campaigns and content. You can do unlimited posts using our content or creating your own, like I just showed you from scratch. And you can have unlimited users to work on marketing together. You get hundreds upon hundreds of pre-drafted social posts, graphics, blogs, emails, ads, ebooks, calculators, lead magnets, you name it. Everything that you need to market your MSP. This isn't just any content either. You've seen Gradient's brand. You've seen the stuff that we put in MSP Studio, the free version. The quality of our marketing, the look and feel of this very event, these presentations. I know I'm biased, but let's be real for a quick sec. My team creates some of the best looking and professional quality content out there. Now, you're probably saying, I can't quite hear you, but this looks amazing. What's it cost? Remember, if we charged what we already offered you for free and gave to you for free, we could have made up to $1 million. By the way, that free version is not going away. We are keeping it there. And if you haven't joined MSP Studio yet, go and get it. Let's be real. The content in MSP Studio Plus is even better. It's on this whole other level. You've seen some of it previewed just now. What I'm offering you just today and available for the next 24 hours, remember, MSPs just like you, a whole bunch of them, they told me that you would pay between $250 and $500 a month. What I just showed you for the full content library, the rebranding automation, and the social scheduling and publishing. We're talking between $3,000 and $6,000 a year. So what's the price? Well, even though you guys told me that $6,000 would be a totally reasonable price, I'm not going to charge you that. $4,000 would be a pretty good deal, but we're not going to charge you that. Even at that bottom price of $3,000, that's a pretty ridiculously great deal. But still, we're not going to charge you $3,000 a year. I'm going to offer this to you if you sign up in the next 24 hours for a lifetime locked-in price of just $2,388 per year. That works out to $199 per month. And yes, the pricing is for a year, not month to month. Because as you've already learned here today, and you're going to learn again from more of the speakers today, marketing only works when you stick with it. You might be wondering exactly what that $23.88 a year gets you. For that, you have access to unlimited content, unlimited social posting, and unlimited users on your team that can collaborate on all of your marketing. Now, I know that that's already a hell of a good deal, but just because you're here today, we've got more. And that's not all we're going to offer you. There's more benefit if you take action now and sign up today. First, your pricing will be locked in for life on MSP Studio Plus. Beyond that, though, if you join in the next 24 hours, you'll also walk away with 5 exclusive toolkits that no one buying tomorrow and forward will ever get access to again. Only you, if you buy in the next 24 hours, will get these, these 5 marketing toolkits on screen, full of blogs, blog articles, graphics, social posts, email nurture sequences, and lead magnets. But you'll also get, we're frozen here. I got nothing. Hold with us. If you're on the line, we're good. All right, you'll also get, can I get my slides?
Yeah.
My 3 additional growth playbooks. The social media stronghold strategy, the close like clockwork method, and the rocket referral system, all in hard copy with the $1 Million Marketing Calendar playbook in hard copy shipped to your door. They're not moving forward.
Yeah, just a second.
Please bear with us 1 minute. We're just having a couple technical difficulties here. So, great deal there. Let's talk a little bit about the ROI, right? Let's say you go and you buy MSP Studio Plus. Okay, that comes in at $2,388. Let's say, and I'm not guaranteeing you this, but let's say that you close even one more customer using that, right? You get one customer from a lead generated from all the social media content you've been putting out. Would that make a $23.88 spend worth it? I think it would. And the reason I think that is because Service Leadership by ConnectWise tells us that the average MSP contract is $2,500 a month. Now, I know that you have costs buried in the services that you deliver to your clients, but still, $2,500, that's how much money you would collect for 1 month from one client on what you've spent $112 less than that one time for access and use for an entire year. That's 12.5 times ROI on your spend. Now, I don't feel like I need to see it, but let's just say, for the purposes of this example, if somebody was going, would you give somebody $10 if they were going to give you back $125 in return? Of course you would. Who wouldn't do that? I would do that. I've made plenty of money in my career. I would still give somebody $10 to get $125 back. That's a no-brainer. That's something that's easy to get a return on. This works out to $199 a month. Let's talk a little bit about the cost of inaction, right? Let's say that you don't act on this today. Let's say that you maybe don't even act on this or do anything about this for 2 years, because maybe that's how long you've already been going without this. Well, In my MSP, I was able to generate 3 to 4 leads per month using all of these same tactics and the same type of content. We were able to close 1 to 2 new customers a quarter. That's 8+ new clients per year that we were bringing on. Let's say that you were able to bring on 1 customer a quarter. At $2,500 a month, $30,000 a year, I'm no mathematician, but I feel like that comes up to about $120,000 in return. Now, if you didn't do this for 2 years, that compounded would be $360,000 left on the table from something that costs you less than the cost of a latte at Starbucks. Happy pumpkin spice latte season, everybody. It's one of those things where you can think and talk all the time. I meet with plenty of MSPs every single year at road shows, at conferences, online, in meetings, everything else. And let's be honest for a second. In this industry, there's an awful lot of talk about all the things that you're going to do, all the growth you're going to achieve, the targets that you set for yourself. But the thing that separates those that win from everybody else is that the ones that win are the ones that take action. Instead of just sitting there talking and thinking about all the things that they're going to do. Now, I think we can all agree on one thing, that achievement comes from action, not aspiration. So again, your offer here today in the next 24 hours is you will get these 5 exclusive marketing toolkits: the modern workplace, the IT peace of mind, the compliance confidence kit, productivity power up, future-proof business, exclusive to you that no one else after today, after the next 24 hours will ever have access to. You will also get shipped to your door, included, all 4 of these hard copy playbooks that today is selling for $499 and tomorrow forward will be $997. Now, if you already bought the playbooks, don't worry, we will refund you that amount of money towards your MSP Studio Plus membership. That's all that there is to it. You sign up now, you'll get your lifetime locked-in price, you get the playbooks, you get the exclusive marketing toolkits, and you get the upper hand on all the other MSPs who haven't shown up here today. Now, you might be wondering, does this type of stuff work? Does social media work? Well, earlier in my session, I told you, hey, one LinkedIn post got me a $100,000 deal. Yes, that wasn't just one post. That was months and months of building up and creating content and engaging with my audience. Well, I've been doing this for 16 years now. October 9th, 2008, this month actually to be exact is 16 years, is the day that I was fired from the last MSP that I worked at. And I was forced into starting my MSP on my own. I was not the best technician. I didn't have all the tech chops that you probably have. And I sure shit couldn't afford the best tools. In fact, I actually used my 9-year-old laptop from college to deliver the services that I delivered. But what I knew is that I needed to get out there, and I forced myself. And I got out on social and I worked my ass off to hustle and put out content all the time, coming up with what I was needing to write, coming up with content, creating graphics, taking photos and posting those over and over and over. And I've played the same playbook. I added $1 million in revenue in my first year in my MSP. I added $1 million for 3 more years after that. Those were my results. Your results will vary, but what I can tell you is that I've repeated that to 3 more businesses now. That same process, the same strategies, the same playbooks, and the same concept. And 4 times in a row now, I have turned 4 businesses into 7 figures in revenue or more in short order. And I've generated over $100 million in enterprise value as a result of that. And my MSP resulted in a 7-figure exit. That's the power of what this can do. Let's take this event as a case study, okay? Nobody phoned you to be at this event here today. Not one phone call. Nobody on my team picked up a phone and called you to have you show up and be here and register for this event. No. What we did, we sent 12 emails. Over the course of 6 weeks, 12 emails that we sent to our list. We went and we put out 12 social media posts. Now I took those posts, I recorded a few extra videos, and I promoted those as ads that you all saw on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, 20 ads that we put out. Now I ended up spending a total ad budget of $2,345. Sorry, I couldn't get to the $2,388. That was the goal. We missed it by a little bit, but just to prove a point. And that got us nearly 155,000 impressions of MSP employees around the world who are all on Facebook and Instagram. What was the result of that? There's our receipts on the screen right there. Our total spend over 6 weeks, the number of ads that we ran, and the total impressions we got. We ended up, this was last night, at 775 registered people to attend. Last I checked, before this show actually kicked off, 791 MSPs unique at this show. There's our receipt from last night. How many attended? The last time that I saw, we were at over 200 for this live stream right now, but I expect we'll probably hit 500 plus over the course of the next 2 streams that go. That was all the power of social media. That was the power of 12 emails, 12 social posts, 20 ads, and $23.45 in ad spend. Let's talk about that for a second. Every one of those 791 people that registered for this event, they're all businesses. They're all MSPs. Those are all leads that we generated through those efforts. Okay? Now, some of you, I've seen the alerts in Slack from purchases. Many of you have already bought the offer out here today. Whether it's the playbooks, and when we get the QR code up for you to be able to sign up and buy MSP Studio Plus. You've gotten significant value from us for free. Many of you have bought it. Lots of you who probably have never even heard of me or Gradient, probably MSP Studio before. That's the power of what we've done here today. Can I get the slide again, please, Tiago?
Yeah.
Now I know what some of you are thinking. Stop talking, Colin, I'm sold, except what if I don't want other MSPs in my city marketing with the exact same content? It's a good question. And so I'd say a couple things. One, MSP Studio Plus has a massive and constantly growing content library. We're talking literally thousands of assets. So there's a pretty low likelihood that the select few other MSPs in your city that have bought will choose the exact same content and post it in any reasonably close time frame as you. 2, posting something is always going to be a million times better and more effective than posting nothing. Like Katie said, you can either be seen or not. 3, I got you guys. I get it. Some people just want more. Some just want stuff that only comes from their company, personalized just for them. You weren't the first to ask this. That's how I knew that some of you were asking. 37 other MSPs and all those phone calls that I already had already did. So we looked into that. Without naming any names, we found several other providers for MSPs that charge between $4,500 and $8,000 a month. That's $54,000 to $96,000 per year to give dedicated content that's built and designed just for your business and your brand voice and style, then scheduled and posted for you. That seemed absolutely crazy to us. So we had to come up with an answer. And we call that MSP Studio Plus Prestige. Now, Prestige gives you a 1.5-hour brand discovery session where we are going to learn your brand voice, your brand style, your vertical focus, your ICP, your services offered, everything that we need to fit you. Then we're going to take that and we're going to generate and create 144 custom social posts with graphics per year. That works out to 3 per week that we will do and create. We're going to follow that up with 24 personalized, unique blog articles that our team will write on your behalf. So you can post 2 a month, pretty much 1 every other week. We're going to give you 4 custom lead magnets per year. A lead magnet that's dedicated to your business and your vertical and the services that you offer. That's going to come complete with your landing page and your social promotion with it. Works out to 1 a quarter. Then we're going to do 24 custom newsletters for you every year. 1 every 2 weeks pretty much, or 2 a month. Those are the newsletters that we're going to curate the content, write the copy, do the design, and do all of that for you. Plus, you are still going to have access to all of MSP Studio Plus, all of the content, so that you can layer on however you want to. We're talking a full year's content calendar, curated, planned, strategized, and built just for you and your business. What's more, it's all created, designed, drafted, scheduled, and published for you. So let's consider for a second what that entire offering would cost you to replicate on your own in-house. Starting with a full-time marketing manager to create the strategy, the brand identity, the content calendar, the creative storyboards, and manage the execution of it all. You're talking $80K at the low end, $100K or more at the top end, and Chris knows all about this. Then you'd need a graphic designer. Well, that's $5K at the low end for a freelancer, or $60K at the mid, maybe to high end, depending on the quality of your designer. Now you need a copywriter, somebody that's going to draft all those social posts, all those blogs, all the emails, create all the lead magnets for you. That's another $5K in freelance at the small end, $60K at the higher end. After that, you still need a social media management tool, and that's going to range anywhere from $100 to $1,000, depending on features, users, use, all of that. When you tally all of that up, you are talking about a whopping $90,000 to $221,000. That is crazy. So what's the cost? Well, like I mentioned earlier, others are charging up to $96,000 a year for the same service. And while I would be happy to charge you guys that, I'll be honest, I kind of feel a little bit greedy and gougy to me. And let's be honest, everything else that these guys are selling you for $96,000 a year, it's overkill. It's too much. It's more than you need and well past the point of diminishing returns. So I'm not going to charge you $96,000. I'm not even going to charge you $54,000 to do it all for you. I'm not even going to charge you $45,000 a year. Or, hey, $30,000 a year would be a totally reasonable price, but I'm not going to charge you that. None of that. What I'm going to offer this group today in attendance here for the next 24 hours is first crack at this prestige service. The service that includes a 90-minute, 1.5-hour brand discovery session to define the brand voice, style, objectives, and personalization. 144 social posts in the year. 24 blog articles personalized and SEO optimized for you in the year. 4 unique lead magnets that include things like ebooks, calculators, swipe files, whatever it is that makes the most sense for your business. We're going to cover that with 24 newsletters throughout the year. Plus, you still have your full access to all the other items in the Studio Plus, all of them in the content library. All planned, all scheduled, all created, all posted for you. I'm offering it to you at a ridiculously low, as some might call it, a self and business limiting rate of $2,000 per month. And you can still use that tool to do any other posts you want throughout the year. Post all your scratch content, layer other existing content on top of it, saturate your local market and gain that strategic stronghold. Only $2,000 a month. That works out to 75% less than the other vendors in our space that are doing this for you today. All of this stuff that others charge up to $96,000 for, the stuff that would cost you between $90,000 and $221,000 to deliver yourself, we're offering you for just $2,000 a month. And of course, like we should do, if you already signed up for MSP Studio Plus, we will happily transfer that investment towards a prestige membership for you. Just watch for your email we'll send you a coupon code or we'll discount or refund you. No issues there. If you need help with any of this, contact my team at helpme@meetgradient.com. So in quick summary here, to wrap up this session and send you guys on a quick bio break again, our special offer, the pricing and inclusions that are only available if you sign up in the next 24 hours. You can get MSP Studio Plus for a lifetime locked-in rate of $2,388 per year with unlimited content, unlimited social posting, and unlimited users. Okay? Now, if you order again today, you are also going to get the 5 exclusive marketing toolkits I showed you earlier, and the 4-pack hard copy playbook bundle shipped to your door, all included. Or if you do want that something a little bit more, that content that is just yours in a service that's done all for you, you can get the Prestige offering for just $2,000 a month and still have access to MSP Studio Plus and all of its advantages from buying today. Now, if you're looking at this price, if you're one of those smaller MSPs and you're just like, I can't hack $2,388 in a payment today, I'll tell you what, we'll do you one better. We will allow you to break that up into 3 equal monthly payments of $796, not even $800. Just email my team at helpme@meetgradient.com. The team is standing by. They will give you a hand. If you have any challenges signing up for MSP Studio Plus or Prestige, my team is standing by. Your platform access will be provisioned and granted access starting next week. And the Prestige brand discovery sessions will begin bookings on Monday. Guys, that's it. Soon after this bio break, we're bringing Shawn Freeman to the stage, talk to you about the journey from 0 to 5 million. Stay tuned. Go get your coffee, top up your water. We'll see you soon. All right, we are back. And to popular request, other side, look at how large these slides are now. Full size. Hopefully you can see more of this stuff. We will still send you a PDF download link for all the slides from the show today. Appreciate your patience. We had some technical difficulties there. I know the stream froze for a little bit, at least on video. Audio was working, I'm told. Also told that you had a hell of a entertaining frozen picture of me for a while. So if you are one of those few that happen to grab a screenshot of that one, post it on LinkedIn. I don't care. This is all about putting yourself out. Tag me in a post. We'll flip you a coupon code or refund a little piece of your purchase today. Point 2, we have a new QR code down here. This is not the Playbook Bundle one. That is the one for you to get set up, signed up for MSP Studio Plus or MSP Studio Plus Prestige. All the details in there. Click that. If you can't see it, the link is also being played along the ticker at the bottom here. That is that. Done with the pitching. Off to the next session. Shawn Freeman is coming up. Super grateful to have him here. He's going to be talking to you about that founder to 5 million journey and how your systems evolve. Shawn, welcome to the show.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Good to be here. All right. There you go. Clicker. Enjoy, everyone.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining today. Super awesome to be here and help you along your journey. So, this isn't about revenue milestones. Building an MSP, there is a point in your journey where you realize that you're not a tech anymore and you're not just helping people with their tech. You're actually a business owner now, right? And so I'm going to take you on that journey, how you can scale as a leader now. You're actually a leader. You're not just a technician. Scale your company and build it, because now you've got these marketing playbooks. You've got all the things you need to do to get more clients. But if you can't keep up, your business is going to fall apart. And so how do we do that? So this is the journey from founder to 5 million, how to evolve your systems, how to evolve your leadership, and how to really own your business and own the market. So we've all been here, the startup hustle. You're wearing all the hats. You're doing the tech work. You're doing the billing. You're invoicing people. You're ordering hardware. You're figuring out what vendors to work with. At this stage, your best marketing is your impact. So you don't have a budget. You have to lean into what's free. So delivering value, building trust, showing up consistently. Your best marketing here is just showing up, solving problems, and creating really, really strong relationships with clients, vendors, and partners as well. So don't forget to do those. It's free and it works, right? So at this stage, and you've probably done this for a while, but then it starts to taper off, right? You don't get as many referrals anymore. Things that you're not keeping up with the growth that you're trying to achieve. So this is where you need to also start to lay the foundation of your business and standardize your packaging. So you need to start telling your customers what you can offer them for value versus ask them what they want to buy. You need to lock in your service agreements, your MSAs. You really need to focus on business outcomes for your clients. And just make sure that experience is predictable. And the more you can standardize at this stage, the better set you're going to be for a really solid foundation. When you do this, people know what to expect from you and when they work with you and what the results are going to be and the outcomes that you're going to create for them. That's really all they're looking for, is how do you create great outcomes for their company. After this stage, the startup hustle, the value is really the trust and consistency and building on that. So the next stage in your growth is really breaking through that million. So many people get stuck at $1 million and they're under it. They just can't get past that. And honestly, I'm going to be blunt with you. The reason is your leadership. You're not getting out of your own way. You're not hiring the right people. You're not bringing in people to be able to scale your company, because you can run a $1 million, just under $1 million company with 2 or 3 people. But after that, you have to start hiring people and you've got to trust them and you've got to get out of their own way. And so at this stage, what I find most MSPs see really good results with is really figuring out what their ideal client is. And there's tons of tools out there to do that. So, and I don't mean like, businesses between 10 and 200 in any industry, as long as they're in my city. That's not an ICP. So really get clear, get specific, and then come up with solutions that provide tons of value to them. Building those vendor partnerships, building strategic partners that you can work with to grow your business is super important at this stage, because they're going to help you grow from $1 million to 5 million. That they're going to be key to your growth. Now that you've started to package all of your managed services and they're all predictable, they're all standardized, these partners start to trust and refer to you, right? They come across opportunities, they send them your way. This is how you break past that ceiling. So hiring the right people, learning how to manage, how to delegate, build a team underneath you that you can really build this business on top of. If you don't have a strong team that you can trust to delegate, and if you haven't figured out how to delegate, you're not going to get past $1 million. What got you to $1 million is not going to get you to 5. And so you really need to shift how you're operating as a leader. When we're getting to that $2 to $3 million range, this is an inflection point, right? Because this really tests a lot of leaders and their ability to delegate. Because, at the end of the day, we technicians, we generally are perfectionists. We want things to be done perfect. We understand the importance of them being done perfect. Security is a big deal, right? So we really need to focus on that, but we can't do it all ourselves. We need to build a team that we can trust to do that for us. At this stage, you really need to take those referrals you've relied on to get to $1 million, 2 million, those people that love you and have other business owner friends. You need to really turn that into an engine. So up until now, we've been waiting for people to get referred to us. And when they come, we're grateful and we're thankful. But how do we actually turn that into something that's active? How do we do, joint events with partners that are really aligned with us, that have a similar client base, build out really strategic partner campaigns, and creating a community presence, right? Getting out in the community, because the bigger your network is, the bigger your net worth is. So you don't get that sitting behind a computer solving problems. You have to get out there. Your leader role is really, at this point, evolves to a relationship builder. You shouldn't be doing tickets anymore. You're building relationships and you're building systems, and all of that is turning into momentum for your company. And that's how you get past this 2 to 3 million and on to 5, 10, and plus. And so really, this is, we've turned those referrals into a referral engine. And this is how we avoid having to do the hard work of cold calling. The things that you make 100 phone calls and you sign 1 client, right? That stuff works. However, there is a smarter way to do it. So now that we're past this, we're shifting into that 5 million. We're going from 3 to 5 million. We've got a team that we trust. We've got a really solid referral engine. Our network is growing. Our net worth is growing. And now how do we scale that up to 5 million? So this is where people start to think, oh, do I bring a salesperson in? Do I hire somebody to take that role on for me? And honestly, you're going to hire a salesperson to keep building out your network and to really take, only one person can build a certain size network. If you can scale that out and bring somebody in to help you expand your business into the community and meet more people, meet more partners, then your referral engine is just going to grow. This isn't where we have somebody going and cold calling and knocking on doors. Again, MSP space, and the thing that a lot of people forget is we are a very high trust industry, right? So if someone's searching for an MSP, they're not waiting for a cold caller to phone. They're actually going out and asking their friends, who do you use? Who do you trust? Who do you like? And if you can be the top of that list by your network and people knowing about you, you're going to be able to scale your business to infinity. Your revenue is just going to come to you. And so the CEO role shifts from, really creating the systems. Now you've got the systems, now you've got the playbooks, and you've got a team behind you, to really architecting those scalable systems on the sales and marketing front, right? So you can get out of that daily hustle and you don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. You can be a more strategic thinker as a business owner and a CEO. So that's what we need to do at this stage. So here's a bit of a summary. We've gone the mindset upgrades. We've gone from that startup, we're hustling, we're wearing all the hats. We are the tech, to that $1 million. We're still doing tech work, but we're starting to build more relationships. We realize that building those relationships today turns into clients in a day, in a month, or 2 months, or 6 months down the road. And so that starts to really work. So now our funnel is full. And then we keep building on those relationships, and we turn those referrals into an engine that just keeps consistently funneling new business into our into our pipeline, and those clients are already pre-sold because they've heard great things about us. And then at 5 million, now we're a CEO, right? You start your tech business, and you don't realize you need to be an actual CEO one day. You need to be thinking about the company strategy, thinking about how do we scale these systems past 5 million? How do we go to 10? How do we go to 15? At the end of the day, if you want a $5 million MSP, no matter who you are, you can have one. You just have to be the leader that's able to build a $5 million MSP. And so part of this is really owning that role as a leader. Your mindset needs to upgrade, and you need to learn these skills because you've got all the great tech skills. You've got the perfect stack because you figured that out, but you need to upgrade your leadership skills. And so that's the next level here. I'm going to jump into this. So really these practical frameworks here, we want to make sure that we build these out. Each stage has its own marketing systems. As we grow our company, we want to go from referral relationships to building that referral engine, doing co-marketing with our partners, really engaging our communities. When we're at 5 million, we've got a brand that people in our city, they've heard about, they know about us, but then how do we turn that into more demand? How do we build our network out further? And if we can do this effectively, we can really eliminate wasted spend, and we can be the top of mind in our industry, in our geography, if we do this right. So the fact is that building your dream team, great CEOs don't scale businesses alone. Getting a second in command, when you approach that 3, 4, 5 million, you bring in somebody that can run the operations, right? The day-to-day, the tickets, the projects, onboarding new clients, and then you can really focus on how do you scale the business, how do you grow out that sales and marketing engine, because you can't do that while you're focused on tickets, right? So really upgrading your team, making sure that you have strong people on your team. The one mistake I always see new MSP owners make is their first hire is like a tier 1 tech that they can barely delegate anything to. They have to babysit and train them. That's the worst thing you can do. You're better off to hire an admin person and still keep doing the tech. And actually, if I look back, my first MSP, if I was going to make that first hire, it would honestly be an admin person to help me, and I could focus on what I do best. Switch slides here. The next, these common pitfalls, I'm going to point some out because they're super important. Skipping that foundation. So really, your packaging and your pricing is foundational to how you build your business. We don't want to put 5 different packages together or create a new one for every client because we won't be able to deliver standardized services with a predictable outcome. So we want to have 1 or 2 packages. That's what I recommend. Have one package that suits most companies. Maybe that upgrade is if they need compliance like PCI or HIPAA. If you can really make it as simple as possible, your techs will know what to deliver every time to every customer. You'll have super consistent customer experience. The next one is spending on ads too early, really thinking that referrals can't be scaled. I think that's a really common misconception that I see a lot of people have. They're like, yeah, I get referrals, but I need more, right? Well, you need to be actively harvesting those referrals, actively building those relationships. Because if you're not, you're just, waiting for people to send you referrals, it's not predictable at all. And that's why it is. So you need to put your time and effort towards those things. The next thing is really treating your marketing like a department and not using a reflection of your operations and your client experience to do the marketing for you. Like you already are providing great service, great experience. Use that in your marketing. Tell your message. Share the impact that you make on your customers' businesses as your marketing. That's all the content you need. The next slide here. So I'm going to talk about 2 different MSPs, and compare the differences. So, founder A, they go to their clients and they sell the stack. They're like, here's all the security tools we include, and also we include help desk. They go and talk to their clients. People aren't buying that anymore. They don't want to buy the stack. They want to buy the outcome. Business owners. So that's what founder B did. They focused on the outcomes. They go to their clients and really, maybe they're having a bit of a security conversation, but they're really focused on the productivity hey, how can we as an IT technology partner help your business be more productive, help you actually use technology in your company to be competitive in your industry? We don't need to be reactive to support. We don't need to be worried about security anymore. How do we transform how we view technology? And so Founder B is really focused on those proactive outcomes. And that most businesses resonate with that nowadays. They no longer resonate with, you need security, you're insecure. All those fear tactics. At the end of the day, if you have, a pretty solid stack, which a lot of people do, that conversation doesn't even need to be had anymore. So I'm going to dive into what you can do, and an action plan on where you can start is really audit your MSP. Are you really referral worthy? I think that's really an important question to ask yourself, because if you are getting referrals, that's great. It tells you you are referral worthy. If you're not getting any referrals, then the proof is probably in the services you're offering. So we need to tighten those up. Likely you need to really standardize your package. You probably need to hire the right people. Maybe you've hired a tier 1 tech and they're just not able to deliver, and you're still working 80 hours a week just to try to keep the lights on. Lock in your packaging, lock in your service agreement, so your MSA, get that dialed in. That should be a tool for you that you get it signed with a new client, you never have to think about it again. These tools, when done right, they have built-in annual increases. So you never have to have a conversation about, we've added these things to the stack and now we need to increase your price. That just goes away. Auto renewal every month, every year, however long your terms are. And then really dialing in your delivery of your services, getting rid of any root cause issues, right? And really improving that client experience, because technology, people are expecting more and more out of technology, and you need to be able to deliver. The next thing, go and build those referral relationships. So ask yourself, who in my network has customers that I would also want? Having clients like accountants and lawyers, they work with other business owners who you want to talk to. Go and have lunches and coffees with them and say, how do we help each other grow? Build that referral engine. And then take it even another step forward. Do partner campaigns, do events together. Layer in that proactive marketing once you've got a solid foundation. And honestly, that's how you scale to $5 million. Those are the systems you need. You need to eliminate chaos. We're in the business of preventing chaos. And so I'm going to dive into some final thoughts. The journey of being an MSP owner who's stumbled across being a business owner. They're a really amazing tech. Now they're a business owner. Now they're a CEO as they've scaled it. Growth is uncomfortable, but it's necessary, right? You've got a great thing. You just need to learn a new skill, and you need to be that leader that can run a $5 million MSP. So I hope this was insightful, and hopefully it was helpful. Last but not least, you didn't come this far to only come this far. Colin.
Awesome. Great session, man. That was so good. Excellent. I think it's so funny. I'm sitting back behind the camera watching all these sessions to just take it all in. I saw the slides obviously ahead of this. I got to see the content, but didn't get to hear everything that you guys were going to share, right? And it's almost too funny as you look at Chris as he sets the foundation and talked about all of that stuff. I mean, you gave absolute great definitive points of what they need to focus on. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, geez, referrals, if only somebody hadn't written the freaking playbook on how to build a referral engine. Anyways, I digress. Tiago, is there any comments, questions from the crowd for Shawn on this stuff?
Yeah, we have on screen Ron Opperman saying, nice work. Right now we have Matt saying that the slides are too big.
Oh, slides are too big now.
He's joking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then
Too funny.
we have Ron again saying delegate to elevate.
Yes.
Yeah, delegate to elevate is a good one, Ron.
Yeah, and lastly, we've got your network is your net worth.
Your network is your net worth. For those who can't hear Tiago, because these are great microphones. Awesome. So, I mean, when you think about it and the growth you went through, obviously you said some pivotal things here. I mean, the reality is, what? Maybe 2-3% of MSPs ever make it to that 5 million threshold.
Yeah.
what do you think is that number one barrier that's taking them? You hear a lot, get to 2 million, 3 million. What's that top barrier that takes that would take them from, let's say, 3 to 5 mil?
Yeah, I think it's number one, it's the leader. You have to be the leader that can run a $5 million company. And to be that leader, you have to have the vision, right? You need to say, oh, we're going for 5 million or we're going for 20 million. Like, you need to figure out that vision, because every decision you make on a day-to-day basis, small or big, is going to get you there or not. It's going to hold you back, right? And I think that's a really important thing to figure out. Even if you're a $1 million MSP today, where do you want to be in 10 or 20 years? Like, I built my MSP 0 to 5 million, bootstrap, no investment, in under 9 years, to 0 to 5 million, my first one. And so I didn't have the relationships or anything.
Yeah, I get the hustle. I appreciate the hustle.
Yeah.
And if you want to know, so we competed
We
running
were
our
in the same
MSPs
market.
in the same market, everything else. I will tell you, here's where he beat me in a lot of times. This guy was drafting articles for Forbes magazine online, top 40 things. He was putting articles out, being seen everywhere. And I wish I had that reach. If you check him out on LinkedIn, I don't even know what you're up to now, 35,000 followers, and his posts get crazy engagement. That's the power of being live on social all the time, promoting, pushing, and putting yourself out there. That's awesome, man. Super appreciate the session.
Thanks for having
We'll
me.
let you go switch up mics with Kyle. Appreciate the
Thanks,
session.
everybody.
Awesome. So while our next speaker, Kyle, is getting set up, cover a few more things, a few reminders. One, right up here, you have the QR code. Hopefully it's big enough. We've had complaints, people trying to scan it. They couldn't scan the code to sign up. We see the deals flowing in. So grateful, so appreciative of your support, your attendance, being a part of this, and being able to provide this opportunity for us to present to you and provide services to you. Yeah, awesome. So with that, Mr. Kyle Sutton is ready to go. Kyle, amazing marketing mind. I first met this guy. We sold my last business to what's now known as Enable. That's where Kyle and I met. He was a growth marketer over there. I will be honest, in all the years that I had been doing what I was doing on the vendor side, working and trying to crack this nut, this guy had figured out so much stuff of how to reach a mass audience using very unique tactics. And I know a lot of those tactics are still in use today. Listen to what this guy has to say. He's a phenomenal speaker, phenomenal mind. Sir, I hand the baton to you.
Fantastic.
Looking
Awesome.
forward to your session. Thanks, everybody.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Am I ready here?
Yep.
Bam. So thanks for the introduction and the,
Yes, side.
am I good?
The other side? Yes. There you go.
First time on camera, apparently. So thanks for the welcome and the introduction. As Colin mentioned, we spent time together at Enable. So I'm a growth marketer by trade, but I love talking to MSPs, because were it not for this marketing career, I would have been one of you guys. So I'm a network engineer by trade, and I basically fell backwards into digital marketing at the end of my undergrad career. Spent a good amount of time at SolarWinds Enable, did 2 IPOs there, did about a decade agency side as well. So have been inside of scaling businesses of all size for the better part of 2 decades. We're going to talk a bit about what's working now in the climate of AI, the world being upside down, et cetera, to get some actionable tips for your business. So the shoes and socks of success. So John Wooten is an incredible college basketball coach. I think in 12 years, he had 10 NCAA championships. And his opponents and analysts studied John deeply to understand how he did what he did. People thought it was his recruiting, his strategy, really complex plays. What Wooten did really well, more than anyone, was to master the fundamentals. So he actually spent the first 30 minutes of the first practice teaching his players how to properly put on their shoes and socks. Okay, these aren't small kids. These are fresh high school graduates. They're in many cases the best players in the country or in their state. So no wrinkles in the socks, proper tension in the laces, because Wooten understood something profound, that blisters lose games, right? If you're blistered, you can't practice. If you're blistered, you make careless errors. So the key to Wooten's success was being deeply focused on the fundamentals and executing them with precision. having a system around those fundamentals, because when things hit the fan, right, we don't rise to the occasion, we fall to the level of our systems, right? And so that's what we'll talk about today, kind of the climate we're in now and what systems still hold true. So there are quite a few parallels in the MSP space. So what's at stake here? 43% of MSPs still cite customer acquisition as their #1 challenge. The MSP market is on track to be $511 billion with a B by 2029. And still 85% of MSPs operate with no marketer at all or one marketer. On top of all of this, right, AI has turned the world upside down. A lot of marketers are saying the things that used to work are dead. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're in any of the trade pubs, every week there's a new post about this tactic is dead. SEO is dead. Outbound is dead. Content is dead. Like the world is dead. In this moment, nothing could be further from the truth. The fundamentals now actually in a lot of ways matter more than ever. And if executed properly, they do move the needle in a good way. So myth number 1, SEO is dead. RIP SEO. Let's talk about the facts. So the reality is that SEO has evolved. So the first 2 decades of search, the first 20 years, largely about building content for the top of funnel. What is security? What is backup? Then building nurture content to pull people into your commercial funnel. Now what we're seeing is this thing called the rise of the zero-click search. We have 2 things taking place. In the visual here, we see what's called an AI overview from Google, right? Where I search for a keyword, and as opposed to getting sent to a website, I'm given an answer directly on the search results page. So that's happening now 13% of the time. We know it's only going to increase. Only 8% of users actually click through to the source websites. But when they do, they convert at a 4 times higher rate than people coming in for traditional search. So we're in a world now where we have to build for conversion and where we have to build for zero-click search. And so practically speaking, what does that mean? So Bain did a really interesting study where they looked at how people buy in a B2B environment. And what they found is that up to 90% of buyers build a short list of a handful of vendors before they start the research process. Then they jump into the channels. That could be an answer engine like ChatGPT or Gemini. It could be traditional search. They vet those vendors out. But then in the end, overwhelmingly, like up to 90% of the time, they return to that original list and buy from the list. So success in this new environment hinges on winning the shortlist moment. So how do we show up on that list before people start the research process? Well, it's a few things that we're seeing working. So number 1 is Google Business Profile Optimization, or GBP. If you've ever dabbled in local SEO, you already know this has been very heavily prioritized in getting a site ranked. Now we're seeing those profiles influencing what shows up in search and in the answer engines. Number 2 is review management. So whereas before, reviews have always been important because that's how consumers are making decisions about who and who not to do business with, but now they're being used as training data, right? And so when someone comes in with a superlative, I want the best security company in Phoenix, right? That rating now is going to influence what's surfaced in that list of recommendations. Next is community presence, right? Industry forums, LinkedIn, Reddit, trade pubs, etc. Next is PR and brand mention. So if you're vertically focused, and I know a ton of MSPs are, how are we showing up in the publications that our ICP is reading? What's really funny to me about, especially the last 2, is that these are just the fundamentals of solid marketing. So if I think about this transition that marketing is going through, you could have a great run doing into funnel really well. Like I've personally been through 2 IPOs just by rocking into funnel really well. Now we're having this full circle moment where you have to have brand as a moat. If I'm looking at how people are measuring things like organic traffic, one of the big measures of AI visibility is an increase in brand traffic, right? No one has a dream and gets up and decides to search for your brand or come to your website. Something else is influencing them. So winning now means taking seriously an omnichannel presence in how you show up. Lastly is answer engine optimization. And so all of the things above will help in the answer engines, but the other piece to think about is the way you structure your content. So SEO, even as recently as 3 or 5 years ago, was very much about, okay, how do I rank well for this individual keyword? Now, yes, keywords are still very much important. There will be no substitute for understanding how people search. But when we build the content, we want to think about, number one, structuring it in a way from a schema perspective that plays nicely with the answer engines. And then number two, thinking about answering questions in that content. So thinking about deeply your into funnel, comparison content, best solution for X, best way to solve this problem. There's a direct correlation between that structure and visibility within generative search and the answer engines. So action step, this week, audit your Google business profile. Make sure you're in the right category. Make sure all the contact data is accurate. The phone number is good. Make sure you've got a healthy base of strong reviews. And if you don't, find your top 10 customers, shoot them an email with a link to the review and ask them to tell the world what they love about working with you, because this is your foundation for visibility in the AI era. All right, myth number 2, outbound is dead. RIP outbound, right? Cold calling is dead. Email is dead. Direct mail is dead. The data would disagree, right? Outbound is actually thriving when it's done correctly. So first, 61% of decision makers want to receive cold email for relevant offerings that solve their problems. The average reply rate for kind of run-of-the-mill outbound is 4.1, but the best are seeing almost 4 times that, right? 15% for top performers. And Gartner is predicting that 30% of outbound will be AI generated by 2025. Now, candidly, a lot of that will be garbage, right? People do AI personalization horribly. They do it in a lazy way. Hey, first name, I see you're in this industry, buy my product. We've all seen that slop and we're all tired of it. What's working now is meaningful personalization. And we'll talk a bit about how to get there. So the new outbound playbook, how do we personalize in a meaningful way? So the first step in this journey actually starts with the audience, right? I can't personalize if I'm trying to do a one size fits all. So the goal here is to scale revenue, it's to scale lifetime value, it's to scale NRR. So I want to look at my best customers, not just through a revenue lens, but through that LTV or through that NRR lens, like who is the most profitable. The second step in the process is to find companies that are similar to those. You can get really technical and use a tool like Clay to combine things like firmographics with buying signals like technology adoption or funding rounds, title changes, et cetera. It really is kind of a lab for go-to-market. That's kind of the advanced approach. If this is your first kind of run at profiling and targeting, jump on LinkedIn, right? If you have a pro account, $30 a month, you have access to a ton of advanced features in search. Drill down by geo and by vertical and find groups that are firmographically similar to those best clients and make that the basis for the next step. Research. So I said before, AI is being used in a really lazy way for personalization. On the opposite side of that coin, you can also use it in a really smart way to get a read on who you're talking to and what their pain points are. I mean, at this point, what's funny about this moment in time is that there's a ton of focus on getting like good at prompting, and that's important. But in parallel to that, right, it's also the job of the answer engines to like meet people where they are. So I remember back in like the early 2000s, there was I forget the stand-up's name, but he had a whole bit about kind of being drunk on Google. Like whatever garbage you typed in, Google would understand the typos and get into the solution. We're seeing a similar trend in the answer engines. So you don't have to be a prompt wizard to do this well. You can go in with something simple to say, hey, I'm selling service X in this location. I would like to sell to service Y or to company Y. Go out and research problems they might be having. consult LinkedIn, local news, their website, publications. And now, like, you can actually speak to these guys, speak to your AI tool of choice with voice. So again, more accessible than ever to do really detailed prompting to get in front of these folks. And then lastly, personalize meaningfully. So don't do the thing in the first example of high first name, like not 1995 anymore. Speak intelligently about what you're seeing in the marketplace. Pull those buying signals in to personalize the comm in a way that's going to move them to action. So as much as we ignore garbage, on a human level, we all have this deep desire to be known, to be understood. And so when a cold outreach engages someone in that way that shows you've done the work, your responses go through the roof. And then lastly, take a multi-channel approach, right? Consumer marketing tells us that it takes 7 touches for a message to land with an audience. And I think we see very similar trends in B2B. Start with a multifaceted approach, then scale up what's working and optimize what isn't. Action step. This week, identify your top 10 customers by lifetime value or NRR. Then use LinkedIn to identify some similar companies and craft your first personalized outreach sequence, ideally across a couple of channels. All right, final myth. Content marketing is dead. Oh my God, the engines are eating all the traffic. My rankings have gone away. AI noise is everywhere. Content's dead. False. Content marketing has never been more important. And here's what the data has to say. 68% of businesses see a higher ROI from AI-powered content marketing. The returns they're averaging are about 2 to 3 to 1. So I put $1 into the machine, I get 3 back. I actually think that's quite low because that's kind of on direct attribution. That doesn't factor in the compounding effects of having a healthy content portfolio, right? What's the ROI of being established as an expert in your space, right? What's the ROI of being the first one people call when they have a technical challenge, right? It's always going to be tough to tie that back to, this one piece of content did this thing. It truly is a compounding effect. And then lastly, almost 80% of marketers report increased quality with AI assistance, right? So that's where we're using AI as a thought partner, not as a kind of a copy paste bot, right? If you're going into any platform saying, give me a topic, give me a post or a blog or an email or whatever on topic X, and you're not giving input on the audience, you're not coming with original thought, you're going to get the results you expect, right? You're going to contribute to AI slop. So the new content playbook. So what's changed? We've made this move from traffic as a KPI. I would argue it was never really a good one because have you ever tried to pay your mortgage with visits? Yeah, it doesn't work that way. To authority, right? Being seen as credible in your space. So what's the new content playbook look like? For me, it's a few things. And it starts with this idea of being original and being helpful, right? So in a world of AI slop, creating things that are truly unique and truly helpful will put you leagues ahead of your competition in your ability to kind of move your audience to action. Content in this space now has to do 2 things that previously didn't necessarily coexist, right? The content has to convert, right? So think about users that are in your funnel. That's in that vein of kind of the guides, the comparison, the what do I need to open my wallet? And it also ideally gets you cited and referenced in some of the 0-click scenarios, right? The answer engines, the AI overview, et cetera. One thing before I move on from the slide, I got ahead of myself here. Okay, perfect. The last piece, authority and community. I think I alluded to this before, but these are just the fundamentals of phenomenal marketing. So as you're building these assets, don't make the mistake of creating this thing one time and not promoting it. We actually want to build kind of a series of assets, and we'll give some examples here on the next slide, and then think deeply about distribution, right? So we're not going to run through these one by one, but these are all just kind of examples of content that work in this space. And the biggest mistake I see marketers both in the MSP space make, and even outside of it, is they invest a ton of time in building the asset and then no time in promoting it. I'm going to have my team put 30 hours into building this white paper, this POV or whatever. I'm going to put no time at all into promoting it. I'm going to take this thing, throw it on my website, and then wonder why my register isn't singing, because you haven't done distribution. So, two things have to happen here. Number one, those big ticket assets should become several supporting assets as well. So the guide should become social content, blogs, emails, things inside of your cold outreach, right? We want to think about distribution. And then on the kind of the content strategy side, if you're vertically focused, you have a phenomenal opportunity to take what is really kind of best practices in the MSP space and contextualize for a vertical. So you've worked in the security space for 15 years, you can rattle off best practices in your sleep. Take those kind of generic best practices and contextualize them for a vertical. If you're working in healthcare, contextualize them for HIPAA, for where we are in the ACA environment, for open enrollment in the States coming up in a few weeks. All of these things take you from kind of generic, kind of another add-on Me Too piece of content to true best-in-class content. All right, so action step on the content marketing side. This week, create one piece of content that only you can create. Think about a problem you've solved for a client, and don't just make it a glorified commercial. Talk about the client, their mission, vision, values. Talk about the stakes for their business. Talk about your solution, but then also offer to be helpful. Hey, if you want to understand how we're tackling problem X, message me on LinkedIn or reach out. And then when people reach out, this is crazy, you actually have to be helpful. Like, we all want to get to the pitch. We all want to get to the check. Like, that's the reason we're here. But we have to be part of the community in a meaningful, tangible way before we earn the right to pitch. So that covers content. So big picture, what's really happening as the world has changed? So people ask me a lot, hey, like, what are the kind of the hottest new channels or tactics in the marketing space? What's the latest and greatest? And I think that's maybe not the most helpful question. I actually go the other way, right? I go the other way and ask, okay, what hasn't changed about humanity since the beginning of time, right? What are the triggers and motivators for the work we do? What keeps us up at night? How are we as individuals seeking to survive and to thrive? And once you understand kind of this idea of motivation, then you're well positioned to apply that to specific executions across the channels. The channels are going to change meaningfully every few years. We see kind of blips on a small scale, and then once or twice a decade, the world changes. If you understand the people behind the work, you're always positioned to kind of adapt to what comes next. So next step. So we'll just recap these very quickly. So this week, audit your Google business profile. Make sure it's accurate. This month, analyze your ICP, then go out and using some of the tools we talked about and find 5 companies that look like that ICP and craft a personalized outreach. This quarter, build one piece of content that only you can build and distribute it in the places where that ICP hangs out. And with that combination of things, you'll be well positioned to grow in this current climate. Thanks, everyone.
That was exceptional, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna give that back to you.
Thank you very much. Awesome. Come out here. So kind of funny, right? We've had, call it over 100 people that have stuck out with us here for now, call it the last almost 3 hours. We've got 2 more speakers left, obviously the wrap up and grand prize giveaway. But again, I watch your session and I hope that the people in attendance are continuing to hear and feel the trends and consistencies of being consistent, putting yourself out there, analyzing and understanding who your best customers are. I loved what you dug into on the trait analysis type of, getting really deep and scientific almost with that. And then the biggest thing for me is just keeping it simple, right? I think A lot of MSPs, when they look at this and they're small businesses, right? A lot of them are those accidental entrepreneurs. I was the exact same way, falling into it, doesn't understand how to do all of this stuff. You know, what are some of the easiest ways just to like keep it simple in finding and prospecting more customers out there that they can hit to, hey, I've defined my ICP. How can I simply and easily find 5, 10, 50 other companies that I can start to target? To my points in my playbook is like, hey, comment on 5 ICP posted every time you post, right?
Sure.
What are some of the easiest ways? You know, you mentioned LinkedIn, but what's the easiest way to find them?
Yeah, I would say LinkedIn is phenomenal. As I mentioned, even the free versions of ChatGPT are excellent at research. You can say, I'm selling service X in this market. Go out, because again, all these tools browse the web, right? Go out and find me a list of 25 companies that fit these specifics. If you're really going advanced, right? If you're paying the $20 a month, you have access to the agent. You can say, build me a list with these columns, right? Yeah. And so it's easy to, number one, kind of go off the deep end with the technology because like, oh man, everything has changed. I'm almost in some cases frightened by the technology. But I think the thing people forget, man, is that any technology really exists to take what works well already with humans and then to deliver it at scale.
Yeah.
Right. So if you look at the old, like I would argue wrapped up the heyday of marketing automation.
Yeah. And
that worked well because, you know, your best reps are doing one-to-one comms really strongly, but, you know, one person sending, you know, 10 emails a day to their contacts doesn't scale. How do I take that relational thing and scale it? So think about what's going well in the business now, then use these tools to scale it. You have a good meeting out in person. The question becomes, what do I do to get more of these phenomenal meetings?
Awesome. Excellent. Tiago, any other questions or comments from the audience right now?
Just overall, Clappy and Shawn sent great information. So,
Excellent.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for the time,
Absolutely was.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Cheers. Excellent. All right, everybody. I know that we're about to head into another 5-minute bio break. We're shifting up some mics. After the next bio break, we're going to get into Justine Adams, who's going to be talking to you all about storytelling. I want to reiterate a few things. All of the speakers today have talked to you about putting yourself out there, being active on social, staying consistent, you know, generating and building authority and giving value. This is the exact reason why we built MSP Studio Plus. This is why we started with MSP Studio, the free version. We wanted to put that content in your hands to help you be an authority, to help you look professional, and to give you the tools to just get it out there easily with your brand on it and not have to think about it. Spending a few seconds, maybe a few minutes to generate an entire week's worth of content to put out there. That was the whole concept here. Now, before we go to the break, just a quick reminder on everything that you get if you buy in the next 24 hours with MSP Studio Plus. First thing, you're going to walk away, well, not walk away, we're going to ship them to you, 4 hard copy playbooks, the exact recipes that I followed to add $1 million a year in my MSP. You're also going to walk away with 5 exclusive marketing toolkits that no one else buying after the next 24 hours will ever get access to. So if you were one of the ones that are saying, hey, Prestige is a little bit outside my budget or it's beyond what I actually need, but I don't really want to always be marketing all the same content, this is content that you and select few others will have. We've seen the orders coming through. This is amazing to watch. The QR code is right up here. Scan in, enter your information, jump in. The water looks great. The water feels great. We're going to go out to a bio break. You can top up your water, get a drink, get a snack, and we'll see you in 5 minutes. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, welcome back. Hope you had a good chance to get a diet soda, a real soda, water, coffee, whatever it is that you needed. Super love having all of you guys here. This has been amazing. Hopefully you've loved the content. We've had a ton of great comments and feedback on the content, trying to react in real time with feedback on size of QR codes, size of slides, everything else. Thanks for sticking with us. We've got 2 more action-packed, full, top-notch educational sessions for you. Without any further ado, I'll welcome Justine Adams to the stage. She's going to be talking to you all about storytelling and building a story brand, going beyond the logo. So, Justine,
thank you, Colin.
Have at it. Thank you.
Just get my slide up. Okay. So I'm here today to talk to you about your most valuable asset, your most valuable part of your marketing toolkit, and that's you, your brand story. And what that means in terms of how you turn what you do into why a customer should choose you. And it's more than a logo. I think what's really important is why story matters. Why do buyers remember you? What makes you different? What makes you stand out? And that's the stories you tell. It is not the lists that you provide on your LinkedIn or in an email. It's storytelling. It's a pivotal role in shaping brand perception, especially today in the highly competitive MSP market. That compelling brand story, that unique brand story that is yours, can transform how a business is viewed by its audience, whether it's current customers, potential customers, or the wider ecosystem. I've seen many brands previously struggle to differentiate themselves and found success by clearly articulating their purpose, their origin, their values through effective storytelling. This shift has allowed them to not only improve their customer engagement, but also to enhance brand loyalty. And I'm here today to talk a little bit more about that. Storytelling will allow you to move beyond that technical jargon and connect with clients on a more human level. After all, humans buy from humans, making your services more relatable and memorable. In a market where many providers are offering very similar services, the ability to tell a unique and authentic story becomes a key differentiator for you. By sharing your real experiences, the challenges, your vulnerabilities and successes, MSPs can truly build trust and establish that strong emotional connection with your audience. Because buyers remember stories, not lists. And stories build clarity and confidence. And those are truly the real decision drivers when your clients are trying to find their next MSP. Today, I have a promise for you all. I'm not just going to talk about theory. I'm going to certainly give some insights for you. I'm going to give you some takeaways. The first takeaway is we're going to talk about the importance of your only statement. How will you differentiate yourself clearly? If you were given 30 seconds with a customer, what would they take away about you and what makes you unique? We're going to look about the importance of customer proof points and how to build them, where they should fit in your brand story. Because really, the customer proof points are the independent audit of who you are. They're somebody else's voices, not your own. And those are very important when we're validating as customers looking to buy a product. And I'm going to help you audit your first impression. Take a look at where you are today and really identify the areas you want to improve and how to stand out in that crowded marketplace. The goal really is for me to help you move beyond generic service descriptions and create those narratives that will truly resonate with your potential clients. In today's market, it's definitely market saturation for us in the MSP space. You've got many MSPs offering exactly the same service, all saying security, cloud solutions, and support. That becomes extremely difficult for buyers to distinguish between providers. And what this ends up with is almost a paralysis, where there is confusion and hesitation amongst potential clients. They're looking for clarity and confidence rather than just a list of service. Are they the right MSP for me? Are they really going to truly understand my business? Am I going to be able to work with them effectively, efficiently? And the core issue really today is many MSPs focus on describing what they do rather than explaining why it matters or what clients should choose them. That authentic differentiator of themselves. This lack of differentiation can really result in missed opportunities where potential customers do not connect with you and your brand and disregard you before even meeting you. It can also lead to reduced customer engagement with a lack of understanding of how you can actually help them. To overcome this challenge, MSPs really need to start shifting their focus away from tech specs to storytelling, highlighting your unique value, purpose, and the impact you will have on the clients if they choose you. By doing so, you're going to create a compelling narrative that sets you apart and attracts your right target audience. The buyer confusion is a state that you need to be able to move through and navigate quickly. Having that quick story you can tell about what makes you different and independent proof points will lead to that client choosing to meet with you, choosing to partner with you, and choosing to stay with you. So you've heard me talk about a brand story, the importance of being your authentic self. And it's more than just a catchy tagline or a marketing slogan. It's a cohesive narrative that should run its through everything you do. Your experiences, your website, your conversations, what happens when you're at a trade event or meeting potential customers. The key elements of a powerful brand story include its origin. So where do you come from? What made you start out in your business? Why did you found it? What was your promise? What's the value you're going to bring to the customers? What are they going to take away? Remember, we're marketing services. There is nothing tangible for your potential customer to hold, to feel. They need to hear your words from you and from your current customers. And the proof, it's evidence of what your capabilities are and your successes. But not only about today, part of your brand story will be your vision for the future. How are you going to be supporting your customers in 4 or 5 years' time, not just tomorrow? It's your strategic tool, aligning both your internal teams and guiding your marketing efforts. For MSPs, crafting a brand story means articulating why your services matter, how you're going to solve your customers' problems, and what makes you uniquely qualified to do so. That well-told brand story can build trust, foster loyalty, and customer retention. All elements of the brand story need to be there in order to tell the full picture. And I'm going to talk a little bit and give an example now of how to build a brand story. Because it's important in the crowded marketplace that we live today. Without a brand story, you're just going to be everything and not stand out at all. You're going to be held in the marketing noise. There's an element of niche positioning, focusing on who you actually will help the best, whether it's a market sector, whether it's an area, whether it's a type of problem that your customers are facing. There is something unique that you can bring that you need to stand behind. By owning a space gives confidence in what you do and why you do it, and it helps your buyers make those very valuable decisions to choose you. Humanizing the brand. People buy from other humans. They don't buy a marketing line, they don't buy a website, they buy from that person who's going to understand their business, get to know them, and build something special together. You're going to build credibility. In today's world, we are a skeptical place. Credibility has never been tested more than before. By providing those proof points, whether it's case studies, testimonials, performance builds, data points, it's going to build that credibility and trust that your buyers need to make that decision to go with you. And your messaging needs to be consistent. If it is not, and you have multiple messages going out in the market, then there's not going to be that cohesive story, and you are again going to blend in with all the other people out there vying for the business. And what happens when you don't? Well, I'm going to call out Sears. It's a cautionary tale for us in marketing and also for MSPs. Once a household name, Sears was in every mouth, but they failed to adapt to changing market conditions. What they did is they lost their unique identity, having a bit of everything, but specialist in nothing. They became a store in a sea of sameness. And really, this analogy highlights the risks that MSP face when they rely on generic messaging such as trusted IT partner, or reliable support. Without those clear differentiators about what makes you unique, you become the risk of becoming invisible, an empty place in a mall that once held that Sears store. The lesson from Sears is the importance of evolving, maintaining a distinctive brand narrative. We need to avoid not blending into the background by clearly articulating what sets you apart and why your services matter. That involves not only defining what your UVP or unique value proposition is, but also consistently and repeatedly communicating it across channels. Repetition is key. Consistency will mean they will hear your message. By learning from Sears' mistakes, you can ensure that you remain relevant, competitive, and top of mind for your target audience. Now, it's a lot of theory I've talked about, but let's take a look at an example. I went on LinkedIn, picked a random MSP LinkedIn profile. Hopefully that's nobody on the screen, but if it is, please don't be offended for what I'm about to call out. But what you can see here is an example of a LinkedIn page today. The overview is very generic. I could cut and paste this and put this across multiple MSPs. If I'm a customer looking at this, the words quality, the words integrity, one-stop shop, they could apply to any sector, any industry, anything. There is nothing here telling me about what makes MSP solutions unique and why I should choose them. They're not bringing that story forward. There's no proof points. There's a list of services, but there's a not where we helped somebody grow by 100%. We stopped so many attacks. Whatever it is, there is nothing in there to tell me what makes MSP solutions different and how their current clients have benefited. So they become in that sea of sameness with nothing making them stand out. So what I did was I went back to the brand story and said, okay, let's look at the 4 components. Component number 1 of a brand story is the origin. So I looked back to find out why they existed. Well, when I read through a bit deeper, I found that their element is fixing frustration with IT, making it in the background so that business can get on with doing their business and not be worried about IT. That frustration they face every day with not having the skills, with not having the understanding or the team to be able to fix it, you're taking that away from them with MSP solutions. That was hidden. Didn't see that anywhere in their LinkedIn profile. The promise, their promise is all about making it simple, reliable, and human. They do have proof. There are proofs of stats and outcomes and longevity, but then you have to dig to find them. Let's bring them to the forefront. Let's put them at the top of that description about MSP solutions. And they do have a future where they want to ensure that clients can continue to grow with confidence and evolve and protect themselves from security risks. So I retook that paragraph that was there on their LinkedIn and amended it. You can take this away, you can read it. I'm not going to read it out now. But what I brought through is they are human, they are proactive, and they're making IT invisible for that business. They don't have to worry about it. They can worry about talking to their customers, about selling their products, and not about where the IT is and what's happening in their IT. You'll see that I added in proof points with data points about how long they've been in existence, how much people had grown, how much downtime had been reduced, all those things which somebody as a buyer is looking for. It's their current frustrations, and align the messaging with your target audience is key. Example 2. This one was talking all about the importance of education, but it didn't tie in why education was important. So I took the overview here and really brought through about, why. What is not just the added value of being educated, but it's the fact that you're more than protected. You actually understand what's happening, and that's what this company brings to you. So if I am as a client now, I've got 2 different things. If I am one that is looking for somebody who can take all my IT away from me so I don't have to worry, MSP Solutions is talking to me. In this case, I want to feel protected and educated and understood. This company number 2 can help me. So I promised you at the start there will be some takeaways. One of the most important things I do, and I work with many of our partners, MSP partners, about crafting the only statement. How do you create your only statement which defines what your unique value prop is in a very clear and concise manner? Imagine you had 15 seconds in an elevator with one of your prospective customers. What would be the 2 sentences you'd want to give to them so you stood out from everybody else? There is a way to construct this with, we are the only MSP in, and you can say a region, a vertical, who, and then highlight your unique promise. By creating the only statement, you can route all your marketing communications in this, your conversations, your websites, your marketing material in any form. You can always go back and say, does it show that we are the only MSP who does this? Now, that's not me to tell you what your unique promise is. I guarantee you all know what that is. But my challenge is that in the forefront of your marketing today? Not your services, but who you are and what makes you special. The second important thing to take away is the importance of customer proof points. They will truly elevate your brand story. It's those proof points that build credibility. They can be case studies, they can be testimonials or performance metrics. All 3 are relevant. A case study is where you're really breaking down the story of one of your customers you've had over a year, and you're looking at all the things you did during that year to help them. That is something, particularly if it's in the same sector, has the same pain points, where potential customers can truly resonate and know that you understand their business. However, you could also look at testimonials, which are quotes, very shortened versions, just highlighting one element of that. But whatever it is, by having your customer's name below it, it provides that credibility that can truly come and support your voice. The final takeaway I have for you is to go and audit your first impression. If you took a look at your website or your LinkedIn profile, do you think that someone can tell in 30 seconds why they should choose you? Is it clear what makes you different? If it's not, you're missing a massive opportunity here. Does it tell your entire story clearly, right through from the origin to the promises to your future and where you're going? Is the brand messaging connecting the way you want to? You want to think about your brand and say, if somebody was to describe me, say MSP Solutions, what would be the 3 words I would want them to say? Modern, relevant, reliable, experts, whatever it is. You want to understand what you would like how would you like your customers to describe you? Because if that's how they describe you, that's authentically you. And finally, is your story aligned with your target audience? Remember seers. Don't try and be everything to everybody. Identify who you can best support and make sure your story connects the dots for them. Finally, a few closing thoughts. In a world where services often look the same, a compelling brand story becomes the ultimate differentiator, the unique differentiator. Your story already exists. It's embedded in everything you do every day. Bring it to the forefront. Tell that story with clarity and confidence. If you do that, I guarantee you'll stand out in a crowded market. You'll build stronger connections with your audience and drive much more meaningful engagement. Services look the same, but there's only one you, and that is the ultimate differentiator. And remember, your story already exists. I just need you to bring it to the forefront and tell it with clarity and confidence so your customers can understand it too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Justine. That was a great session. There we go. Magically, the slides disappeared and Colin appears behind them. I wasn't here the whole time. Yeah, amazing. I mean, it's so funny. I was looking up, you can come this way. You're covered by a QR. There we go. I was looking up a stat while you were talking, because you were talking a lot in the story and finding a purpose and standing out, right? So I looked up a stat because I'd presented fairly recently about something that just reminded me. Actually, purpose-driven brands are trusted 4 times more than any other brand by the general population. So as long as there's some purpose that you form into your story, you put it out there, you tell about it, it's going to be something that resonates with people, and then they trust you. And after all, people buy from those that they know, like, and trust. Exactly. So good. Quick question for you. So somebody's building their story. They're wanting to put it out there. What are the top 3 components that they should include in their story that they're putting out for their brand?
I think to start with your origin story, where did you come from? Why did you build this company?
Why.
The why behind it, because that shows passion. That shows integrity in what you're doing. You're not just there to make money. You're there to help. You see a need, and it's something you want to do. So I'd say that's where I'd start. Then I'd focus on what makes you different, and that's usually the human touch. What do you stand for? What should somebody expect when they are working with you? And then finally, why they should stay with you. You're not going to stay static. You're going to keep growing along with their needs too.
That's excellent. Awesome. Tiago, any other questions from the audience on this?
Just praises.
Just
Connor,
praises.
Yeah, Connor says so informative. So yeah, a very good session. And also,
Great.
I'll probably say their name wrong, but Bill Cienu Mihai says, honestly, the knowledge share has been a 5-course meal.
Oh, that's amazing. 5-course meal. Well, hopefully a 7-course. There were 7 of us, but you haven't seen the last one yet.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Justine.
Thank you.
Amazing session.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, looking forward to more content from you. That was
Yeah,
awesome. I
excellent.
will
Thank
grab
you.
that.
I'll give you that.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone. I'll give you that.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Coming into the final session here with Arsalan. Before we go into the wrap up, the grand prize giveaway, super appreciative of you guys. I'm glad that you were loving the content. We worked very hard to pull all of it together for you guys for exactly this purpose. So we look forward to seeing so much great, better stories out there, consistency on social, everything else. With that, I will now welcome to the stage our friend Arsalan. He is going to be talking to you all about the 3 pillars of MSP success. This is the man. Here's the clicker. Thank you, sir. The floor is yours. You'll be able to see exactly how you look to everybody else right there. Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, regardless of where you're watching this event from. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Colin and team, for asking me to be part of this event today. When Colin asked me to help be part of this event, I had to think a little bit that, how do I want to tell a story here? And it really takes me back to something that I was very passionate about, had an opportunity to build in my day-to-day job with Lenovo over the last few years. So I'm going to kind of tie that to the story I'm going to tell you in terms of effective marketing. And the way I frame it is, really the 3 pillars of enable, connect, and grow, which we use in our day-to-day program that we've launched within Lenovo. So I want to start off by just saying, we all agree, the MSP marketing challenge is real. There is lots and lots of different reasons, whether you're a small size MSP, mid-size, or even some of the larger MSPs. Some of those common things that I think everybody agrees with are things like, and sorry, I'm just trying to figure out this clicker here, limited marketing expertise. I know many of you guys out there, especially some of those smaller MSPs, you've started as tech guys who eventually got tired of working for somebody and said, you know what, I'm going to start my own business, and eventually built something, grew it to wherever you are today in terms of size and revenue. So you're not necessarily always marketing experts, and you don't necessarily always have a full-time marketing person in-house that can help you with your marketing related activities. Another consistent challenge that I hear from a lot of different MSPs is around inconsistent lead generation. Where do you generate leads from? Is it through email campaigns? Is it through going to different industry events and talking to people? Is it through your website? So again, figuring out how you can ultimately generate quality leads is another consistent challenge that I hear from a lot of different managed service providers. The next one is around commoditized positioning. So if you look at this business, go back about maybe 10 years ago, when there was this transition happening from a lot of traditional VARs, traditional resellers, over to the managed services model, you had an opportunity to differentiate yourself and was able to tell a better story versus a traditional reseller who was really price focused. That's really changed now. If you look at the market, North America as an example, if you look at some of the market stats, there are well over 50,000 managed service providers in the North American market. that shows you how much other businesses, how much other MSPs you're competing with. So you have to find a way to really differentiate yourself, because just labeling yourself an MSP is no longer going to really differentiate you versus some of your competitors. And then the last thing is around resource constraints. And again, like we talked about, obviously not every MSP have their own in-house marketing person, but it's also about how are you then actioning some of those marketing leads you're generating. And you know, having people that are generally wearing multiple hats is always not the best approach either. And these are some of the things that hopefully I can help address throughout the next few slides and few minutes I'm going to spend with you guys today. So why the story of enable, connect, and grow? So as I mentioned, about 4 years ago, I was fortunate enough to join Lenovo, and I was asked to spearhead and build our first ever partner program for MSPs. This was a really interesting task for me because I was on the other side of the fence for almost 14, 15 years. I worked for different managed service providers, and I had seen firsthand some of the challenges I had working with OEMs like Lenovo or some of its competitors. So when I was able to come over, instead of just rushing into building something and launching it into the market, I had the opportunity to work with an extensive team of people from across Lenovo and across different geos and different roles within the business. And we spent almost the next year talking to probably well over 1,000 MSPs around the world, and to really get a better sense of why would you want to work with a vendor like Lenovo? What can we do to actually incentivize you to want to work with a vendor like Lenovo? And throughout those learnings, we were able to basically categorize everything that an MSP is looking for from a vendor into these kind of 3 pillars of enable, connect, and grow. So the story I'm going to tell today and kind of the lessons learned I'm going to share, it all ties back into that global program framework that we put together. Our program really focuses on 5 key pillars, and these are kind of the 5 key components that we saw more and more MSPs asking for. The first is around digital platforms. Like, we live in a digital age where everybody is using different things, whether it's Twitter or X, or whether it's Instagram or now TikTok. So this is one where you are going to have to start investing in if you're already not as an MSP, and you're going to have to find ways to leverage some digital platforms to connect with existing customers as well as potential new customers. The second one is around marketing. And marketing can be a broad form, but what really stood out for us is MSPs are aware that there's marketing tools and enablement tools available through vendors, but they're not always necessarily aware of how they can best use it. And this is going to, again, tie in really well with the story we're going to talk about today. The next one is around communities. We know MSPs, it's a very referral-based business, but it's also around like the community and the network that you build, because those are ultimately people that can bring you business. It could be whether it's through end customers, whether it's through some of the vendors you work with. So communities, again, plays a pivotal part in terms of this overall program framework. The next one is around training. So how do we actually educate and enable our partners? And we'll talk about how you can do that with your end customers. And then lastly, around incentives, like, why should I do business with you? Like, what's in it for me? And that's probably one of the questions that your customers are going to ask you as well. And we'll talk about addressing that as well. Just checking I'm good for time here. Yeah, looks like we're on track. All right, so let's talk about today's MSP marketing landscape and some of the things that have really changed over the last few years. First one is around buyer education focus. As you know, most of the customers that you talk to today, they've already done a certain level of research ahead of time before they talk to you. They've done their Google search, or they've looked at your website, or looked up a specific vendor solution. So a buyer 2.0 or 3.0, however you want to label it today, has already educated themselves to a certain point. And that really ties into the next point, which is around that digital first approach. A lot of your customers want to be able to interact with you in different ways. Not everybody's going to want to pick up the phone anymore. Not everybody's going to want to like have that face-to-face meeting. So making sure you have other digital ways of interacting with your customers is certainly very important. The next one is around specialization versus generalization. As we talked about, again, as the MSP business landscape is growing and more competitors are joining this space, you certainly want to find ways to differentiate yourselves. Now, I'm not saying everyone should go and specialize in a specific vertical, because those can also be time consuming. It requires investment, but find different ways that you can differentiate yourselves versus the other MSP that might be down the street or in the same city as you, who's providing very similar services, very similar vendor solutions. And then that really ties into the last point, which is experience-driven differentiation. So really, how are you going to define and showcase your customer experience, which is very different than any of your competitors? It could be around focused on specific outcomes. It could be around, what your month-to-month invoicing experience for the customers look like. It could be about how you're marketing, how you do events together, all the different ways that you're really changing that end customer experience. So, let's start tying this back into kind of the three pillars I talked about: enable, connect, and grow. So from an enablement standpoint, some of the things that you can start thinking about is enabling your marketing capabilities. And what does that look like? So establishing your digital presence. I hope every single one of you guys has a website that at least provides some overview of what your business is. As I said, we live in a digital world, so I highly recommend take the time and make some investments in making sure you have a website that tells your story really well. Don't just put up a basic website and list some of the services that you offer or some of the products that you sell. Find ways to tell a story that can resonate with people. Develop your content strategy. And this is one where I talk to a lot of MSPs about, and I think the ones that I see are very successful do a really good job around content strategy. You've got to find ways to, publish a blog, or at least join some of the other online forums and provide perspectives towards those particular topics as a subject matter expert. Put together white papers and webinars. Why? Because every single one of these that you do helps you with ultimately getting a higher search result when people look up companies like MSPs or service provider in Google. These are all the different digital content that can help you rank up higher in SEO and search engine optimization and really help make your brand stand out. The next thing is around implementing marketing automation. I think you've probably heard this through some of the earlier presentations, so I'm not going to kind of repeat this over and over, but you've got to have a CRM. If you don't have a CRM, a lot of the stuff that you're doing doesn't matter. Lots of great tools out there. There's some free ones, some paid ones, but invest in a CRM tool and make sure you're leveraging a lot of the built-in functionalities of the CRM, whether it's email marketing or lead scoring, things like that. So take advantage of a proper CRM platform, because even if you're a 3 or 5 person family size MSP, you still have to nurture your leads. You still have to keep track of all your contacts. So leverage a CRM, please, if you're not already. And then really the last one is around creating your sales enablement tools. So how are you presenting your solutions to your customer in a proposal? Is it still in a print format or in a digital format? Are you leveraging more up-to-date tools like DocuSign to get agreements signed? How are you showing return on investment to your customers on a specific solution that you're selling? So a good example I would always use with a lot of MSPs I talk to, if you're doing newsletters, don't necessarily always send out this is this month's special, or hey, we're now selling solution X. Talk about a customer story, or share the news about a recent cybersecurity breach that you think that customer can actually relate to. And really have things that can get your customers thinking. And those are, again, all the different sales enablement tools that allow you to have more conversations with your customers. From a connect standpoint, some of the key areas I would recommend focusing on is things like, we'll start off with, for example, it would be, if the clicker works here, social media engagement. So everybody's using social media. The buyers, are becoming younger and younger. So I know we all probably have a website. We all might have a LinkedIn page, but start investing in other forms of social media, whether it's X, whether it's TikTok, because this newer generation of buyers, they're looking to consume information in lots of different ways. And there are lots and lots of free courses out there. and organizations that can help you get better at this. So don't think of it as a scary giant thing that, oh, I don't really understand social media or I don't know what to do. There's lots of resources online that you can take advantage of. The next one is around strategic partnerships. And this is one where, again, the one takeaway I have for you guys when I'm talking about strategic partnerships, when it comes to a lot of the big vendors you work with, whether it's the Microsofts, the Ciscos, the Lenovos, you name it, a lot of these organizations have lots of amazing programs, MDF dollars that can help you do more with your customers from a marketing perspective. If you have a plan, take it to your representative, and I guarantee you they'll work with you to get you the tools, the dollars that you need, and help you co-market together to be able to win more business. So take advantage of those partnerships. And then, sorry, I lost the screen here. Technical difficulties with live events. But give us a second. We should be back up. And looks like we should be back up shortly. I apologize about the delay. Promise I'm almost done, so we'll be able to wrap up soon. And hopefully everybody is able to see the slides again. And the last point I was just going to talk about is industry leadership. You know, like I look at the North America market, and a lot of us attend lots and lots of industry events. So events are always a great way of generating leads for your business as well, whether it's being a subject matter expert, doing a keynote at any of these events, whether it's to be part of a panel discussion, but find ways to really build that network across other industry experts that you work with. And then also ways to contribute to, you know, we've got lots of great publications within this industry, lots of blogs, newsletters. So all the different ways where you can basically create brand awareness for yourself and be able to find potential new customers. And then last thing is around the grow pillar. Like, so you've done a lot of this, like how do you really grow your business? And really the one advice I like to share is growing your business doesn't always mean finding net new customers. And I've heard this from a lot of MSPs that have had great success around what works really well for them is focusing on their existing customers. So one of the things I learned early on from one of my mentors in my career was what's called a white space exercise. And a lot of you guys might already do this. If you're not, like, I guarantee you'll see a lot of good results doing this. And what you do is basically take an Excel file. On the left side, list all your customers. On the top, list all your existing services that you offer. And then in front of every customer, put an X on every service that they're already using from you. Wherever you see a blank space, that's an opportunity for you to go and talk to that customer and grow the wallet share. So growing the business isn't always about net new customers because sometimes onboarding and winning a customer can be expensive. It takes time to actually start seeing some ROIs, especially from a managed services perspective. So do emphasize on focusing on some of your existing customers. And then the second thing is nurture those leads that you generate. You've done all these amazing marketing activities, you know, and you've generated these leads. Leads don't turn into business right away overnight. So you have to nurture them. You have to continue to build those relationships. You have to continue to understand what that customer's challenges are. And eventually you'll get to a point where you'll be able to win more business with that customer. That's it for me. I'm just going to wrap this up with a quote that I saw a few weeks ago, which I thought was very relevant to what you guys have seen all day. Thank you again for having me today. And I hope you guys found the sessions great. And if you're ever interested in chatting, you can find me on LinkedIn. Happy to talk to you guys more in details regarding some of the things I do. Thank you.
That was phenomenal. Way to bring it home,
man,
sir.
These lights are really hot.
Awesome.
Like,
it gets you, right?
Just sweating here.
Is it hot in here? No, that was excellent, man. Love the content, getting out there, putting out the message, using vendor supplied stuff. I mean, it's the freest marketing resources out there. Is all the vendor kits you can have access to and doing things. I mean, you'd think I paid you. I didn't pay any of these speakers, by the way, but they're just also passionate about the space, also passionate about marketing. But man, did your deck do well for MSP Studio Plus? Anyways, a couple things that came to mind. I mean, you are one of really the only big vendors in the space at the show here. Obviously, Justine's with SureWeb, but you started talking about MDF and going. Now, I saw a stat, I want to say it was about 2 years ago, that Canals put out that they estimated approximately $40 billion in unused MDF every year. $40 billion goes unused in MDF funds from vendors like Lenovo. Give your top best tips right now on how the heck these MSPs can get access to MDF with their vendors, use it, and drive forward for success.
That's a great question that I probably get asked very regularly. And the best way I can answer this is the money is always there, because the way we price out our products or solutions, there's always a portion of that dollar that's set aside for MDF or marketing related activities. I think the challenge is far too often vendors MSPs actually approach the vendors they work with. Hey, can I get $5 grand because I want to do a dinner event? Or can I get 10 grand to do a basketball game or a hockey game? Which is good. Like, entertainment is definitely a big component of this industry we were in. Where you need to do a better job at is provide a plan where if you're going to approach a vendor and ask for dollars, actually show them how they're going to see an ROI. Because in most cases, in order for your respective channel teams to be able to release those dollars to you, they have to submit some kind of ROI within our internal tools. And sometimes we're looking for like a 10x or 15x return on those dollars. So if you show up with a plan that, okay, we are going to do, let's say, a dinner or a sports event, these are the customers we're looking to invite and have at the event. And this is potentially some of the projects we're discussing with those customers, that this is how it ties into some of the solutions that you offer. And this is potentially the opportunity size that we're going after with these 10 or 20 customers. Then that's a much easier conversation for your channel account manager to get you those dollars. Whereas if you just go to them and say like, hey, can I get $5 grand or 10 grand? It's not easy, because now the channel account manager has to find a way to put a plan together and build that business case to secure the dollars. The money is always there. Like, you just have to ask and provide a proper plan that makes sense. And then the vendors are happy to work with you.
There we go. That is awesome feedback. You're not just going to get free money all the time. Have a plan. Tell them what they're going to get back for it. It's a partnership after all. That's amazing. Tiago, we have any comments, questions from the audience after that session? What do we got?
Yeah, we've got Anthony saying MSP owners are like being a pizza place owner. Everyone thinks they can do it.
Being like an MSP owner is like being a pizza place owner. Everybody.
It's not easy making pizza. You got to be good at it.
No.
Yeah. And we also have Wayne. Wayne goes, a great piece of content can be shared everywhere on multiple platforms easily with some simple tools.
Yeah.
One thought leadership can hit LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah. For anybody that can't hear that, just if you do one post, you don't just have to only have that on LinkedIn. You repurpose that across all the social. There's people everywhere. You can hit their feeds. You can get it out there. So just creating one can spread the message to a lot of people on a lot of platforms. Excellent.
Yeah, and I'll just say this too, because we talked about it earlier today. It's not always about sharing the content. Sometimes it's just about getting involved with the conversation, right? Lots and lots of people out there, they're always looking at amazing reviews and posts and content. They never even hit a like button. Trust me, like when you hit that like, you're now part of that conversation. You're going to see some follow-up comments that get added to that, and you might get into a conversation with somebody else that adds a comment in there, and then somehow you start building a relationship there. So engage. Don't always just observe and kind of sit back. By engaging, you're going to find ways that you're going to start building some great connections and be able to potentially generate some long-term business out of it.
Excellent. Bang on. Awesome. Arsalan, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate
Always
it.
A pleasure.
Excellent. I will grab that from you.
This is for you.
Thank you,
And
sir.
I'll let you do your draw.
All right. So we are about to get into the draw prize giveaway. We'll get the slides up here. Tiago's working the magic on one hand. There we go. I moved over just the perfect amount. Awesome. If I can get over to there, and we'll click over to the next slide. The $10,000 grand prize giveaway. That is about to go down. Give us just a few minutes, a couple more things to cover in with you. No, we had some technical difficulties. Hey, this is the reason all of you MSPs are in existence. So anybody that's not even an MSP watching this show, if you have technical difficulties, you should search up a local MSP today to deal with your IT. Anyways, I joke, but it's the reality. When you're dealing with technology with, I don't know, what seems to be 10 different monitors here to feed speakers, feed the stuff, the different overlays, that's what happens. But want to quickly recover for you guys what today's special offer is. I know some people joined it a little bit late. Some people are coming and going throughout the event, had some technical difficulties earlier. You've seen maybe the QR code down on screen over there. Tiago, if you can hop that slide up for me, that would be amazing. Awesome. Quick recover. The special offer for you today, what we all came together here as part of presenting to you, giving you this content, but also the exciting launch of MSP Studio Plus by Gradient. If you action today in the next 24 hours, you can get your pricing locked in for life on MSP Studio Plus for just $2,388 a year. That works out to $199 a month. We did some math backstage. That's $6.54 a day. That is less money than a pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks. So how's that for a good deal? In any case, with that spend, you get unlimited content. You get unlimited social posting. Again, it integrates with LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Well, Twitter is X now. Facebook and Instagram, social media, publishing automation, full content library with tons and tons and tons of resources in there that automatically gets branded for you. You can use unlimited users in this. And then again, if you buy today, we're going to include 5 exclusive marketing toolkits that no one else buying tomorrow forward is ever going to get access to. You're also going to get a hard copy 4 packs of the playbooks today. Selling for $4.99 today, $9.97 starting tomorrow forward. You get that for free, included with your purchase, shipped to your door. No shipping and handling, but please be patient with delivery. That's what you have with MSP Studio Plus. If you wanted a little bit more, that custom personalized content that's only coming out from your company, that content that comes out, with curated content, specialized design, and a full content calendar built just for you, executed and designed just for you, with everything included here, plus still having full access to MSP Studio Plus. That's all there for you at just $2,000 a month. That still works out to 75% less than the other guys that are charging up to $96,000 a year for. We want to be able to deliver it to you at an efficient, effective, cost-effective price. If the $2,388 is a bit much for you, you need to break that up. You don't have the room on your credit card, but you really want to get going, we will break it up into 3 equal payments of $796. Just email my team at helpme@meetgradient.com. They're standing by. They can qualify you and get you a special sign-up link for that. That is all I have to say about that. Now, let's go to the grand prize giveaway. We have assembled a phenomenal thing worth $10,000 in total. I wish we could just give you $10,000 in cash. That's not part of it. What you are going to walk away with, 1-year membership of MSP Studio Plus, fully included for you. If you bought already, and I know a lot of you have, which is so amazing, if you have, we will refund your purchase. Okay, you are going to walk away, if you didn't buy, also with the 4 hard copy playbooks. You're going to walk away with, like I said earlier, a strategy session with Katie Vreeland. So valuable, helping you find your voice, to find your founder-led brand and getting out there. You have a 1-hour sales consult with Chris Black, the man that has sold over $1 billion in managed services himself. You have 1 month included of impactful MSP coaching with Shawn Freeman. He has built back-to-back MSPs to 7 figures in short order, had exits. He knows what he's doing. Lastly, you can have a 1-hour GTM consult with me. I get DMs all the time. I used to have a calendar booking out there. People just book me up too much. If you want access, let's hop on a call. You get that as part of this. Last but not least, Lenovo super generous in donating a portable display. When you're on the road, you're giving a presentation, you want to do a sales deck, proposal, whatever it is, it's there for you. Awesome. So let's go. We can get rid of these slides. They actually recorded the spin while I've been talking because we want to keep you all on time here. Let me open up this file and we will play it for you here. Names are all loaded in there. We're going to go do the spin. We ended up at over 830 people signing up for this event today. And the winner is, I'm so nervous, Rob Gundling. Amazing. Team will be in touch with you. Congrats on that prize. Very valuable. It's funny, actually. I had a conversation. He previewed this. He's one of the people that gave us feedback. And I think he said he was one of the ones that would pay $500 a month for it. Lucky for Rob, he gets it for free. Excellent. That is all we've got for you today. Switch the slide, please. That's all for today. It has been an action-packed 4 hours. Thank you for being here. Thank you for those about the VIP upgrade, the playbook bundle, the MSP Studio Plus. Your stuff will be shipped out. Keep an eye on your inbox for your PDF files, your download links, your slides, or everything else. That is all. I'll bring all the speakers back on stage. Final goodbye. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks to all the speakers for being here. Super appreciative. This has been a great day. We'll see you guys on the restream. We can drop the QR.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great one. Awesome.
Yay.